All right, this is episode 5 of the Case Club podcast, and I am here with a new friend of mine. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Joby. You might know me from Joby Reactions. I do some small videos here and there.
We are both fans of Detective Conan here, so I just thought
Yeah.
it would be a good idea to bring on somebody that I know who also likes Conan as much as I do, and like I've said time and time again, like Yukiko will have the ultimate casting, so I thought this would be a good person to have on this episode here and just talk about our love for Conan. You are fully caught
Yeah, it's
up.
really nice meeting you.
Yeah, you are fully caught up, right?
Yeah, I'm still not caught up with the last two chapters, but you can just catch me up on those.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I just didn't want to like spoil anything. That's all. So this one will be more open than our last guest because our last guest was only up to like the Holmes Revelation arc in the 600s.
Oh
So
my God.
so we were just kind of just talking about other stuff. But the one
No,
thing,
no, you can go all out. You can go
yeah.
all out.
But the one thing I brought up during that was I told him and I said not a lot of people have noticed this yet, but that one episode, it is the start to the arc that we follow today. Like everything that happens from that episode on is because that episode happened. Like it's all tied back to that
Yeah.
episode. Um, so like for example, all the Sierra Masumi, Mary, all that stuff is like re-related back to that one case. Like it all
Yeah.
ties in there. So I only
Yeah, I
watched.
mean, back when when that case came out, we would have never guessed that it
Yeah,
would have literally affected everything
I
going forward.
I think look, I know that like I say like the story really didn't start until like the 300s. Like that's when the show became like more story orientated. But like I swear, until this episode happened, Holmes Revelations, like I feel that's when Gojo sat down and said, "Okay, we got to start writing a
Yeah.
story to end a story." like um like everything from there just like starts making sense. Like why did we have to wait like 200 episodes
Yeah.
from like the Clash of Red and Black to
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the Scarlet Return? Like I
Yeah.
was just
I like think like Gosho didn't think that this would be as big as it was. So he might have had one story when he started like chapter one, but when Detective Conan became as big as it is right now, he must have realized like he has to go big or home. Like
well,
there's no in between.
like I read like a few times that it was only supposed to be like one season. Then I read somewhere it was only supposed to be two seasons. But like regardless, that's still not a lot. Like in his
Yeah.
head, this wasn't supposed to be, a fast thing, and that's why like Ran or Rachel, whatever we want to call her today, was
Yeah.
like so quick on his case, and then she just
Yeah.
suddenly mellowed out. And it's like I'm not gonna freak out about this anymore, and it's just
Yeah.
like uh, and you can notice like a few times in the series, like where she starts really picking up really fast again, and she drops. And I feel like those were like times where like Gosho was just like, okay, this is where I want to end it, but like they're like, hey, no, this is a cash cow. We can't end it.
Yeah.
Because he said he was going to retire when he turned Dr. Agas's age. He's past Dr. Agas's age, and
Yes.
here we are. Um, I,
Yeah. He's gonna go for at least another 5 to 10 years for sure.
I think, and I could be wrong, and I want to be wrong, and I don't want to be wrong. I want to be wrong because I don't want Conan to end, but I want to be wrong. But I want to be right because I want this show to finally have an ending. Like,
Yes,
um,
for
I
sure.
think COVID, because of COVID, or I probably shouldn't have
Yeah.
said that word because now YouTube's gonna attack me. But that's fine. I'm not getting paid anyway. Um, that the show was probably gonna end in 2022 or even this year.
Yeah.
Conan's
Uh,
been on two long hiatuses in recent memory that I could think of where
yeah.
we went weeks without anything, and
Yeah. Wasn't it because of his health or
well,
something?
that was originally
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
while
yeah.
ago, but this has all been COVID related. The last few
Yeah.
times, and like in theory, this show was supposed to end like in the end of 22 or like 2023, because
Yeah.
Gosha right now, he's knocking out all the hitters. We're not getting as many TV originals as we were getting. Um,
Yes.
we know who the boss is. If you don't know, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna say it.
No, no, yeah, yeah. You can say it. You can say it. But just put a disclaimer if you want for anyone
Yeah, well,
who hasn't caught up.
I'm not saying the name out loud. Period. But
Yeah.
and then we have Rum knowing that is like requesting stuff on
Yeah.
Kudo Shinichi. We have Rum asking Vermouth to look into Yusaku Kudo.
Yeah.
Uh, I, in my opinion, um, okay, now we're requesting Shinichi's identity. And we know who the boss is. You can't just leave us at that. Um,
Yeah.
in my opinion,
Yeah,
so
I mean, I think like if we hadn't gotten any breaks in between, we could have seen maybe a 2022 to 2025 release.
yeah.
But since because of this pandemic and because of Gosho's health and because he can't research a lot, because of his
Mm-hmm.
health right now, it
Yeah,
might take at least another 5 years in my
like
that's what I think.
yeah. Like don't get me wrong, I'd love to have Conan until 2025, but
Yeah.
I mean the one part that bothered me about movie 22, I meant
Yeah.
not 22 movie 20. What one's Scarlet Bullet 24?
Yeah,
Um,
24.
the one thing that bothered me about that movie is they showed the final trailer right before it was about to come out. The movie was done. They still said it was coming out that next weekend or whatever, and
Yeah.
then they delayed it until next year. And
Yep.
the one thing that bothered me about that was like knowing that entire year that movie was done on a flash drive somewhere, and I was just like, no, I can't. Like if they would have told us that it wasn't done or whatever, then I would have been like, okay. But just knowing it was done, like
Yeah.
bothered me. Especially
I mean,
because
but
this movie just
yeah.
looked so good.
Yeah, I mean, at least we got something good out of it, like a worldwide release of the movie. Like
Yeah.
later on today, I'm gonna be talking to a guy from France who has actually seen the movie, so that's gonna be pretty cool.
I've talked to a few people who have seen it, and I just tell
Wow.
them,
What did they
I
think about it?
I just tell them to zip it because I don't want to know. Uh, like someone spoiled something, and I don't know how spoiled it is, but they were talking about like how like the Conan movies always have that one moment where you're like, I can call bullshit that like there's no way you did that. And they were
Yeah.
talking about Conan and Akai doing this one thing that was just like like the big moments in the movie
Oh.
where it's like that was a bit of a stretch, like like the car
Yeah,
jumping from
yeah,
one
yeah,
roof to another in movie 5, stuff like that. And I'm just like, so it's not a full spoiler because I'm like, I
yeah.
kind of expect that over the top like anime sequence, but it's just like I know a few things about the movie, and I'm trying to keep myself a little bit fresh with it. And I'm kind of actually hoping, because you want to know what? Bang Zoom has been knocking it out
Yeah.
of the park with these dubs. Besides Dr. Agasa's voice, I'm sorry, I hate it, and that's what it is. Um,
Uh-huh.
but they've been knocking it out, and I kinda hope for the first time I actually
Oh.
want to try watching the movie in English the first time and not watching it in Japanese. Now I've always watched the Japanese
Uh-huh.
movies first because there was no English dub. And I somewhat, for some odd reason, starting with Zero the Enforcer, I enjoyed it the second time more in
Mm.
English, and I caught more than I didn't catch the first time. Uh, so, in my opinion, I actually kind
Yeah.
of want to see how it feels to watch a Conan movie for the first time in English, because I have
Yeah.
not done
I
that
mean,
unless if
yeah,
you count
it's
the
gonna be a
Funimation
different
dub.
experience. I mean, either
So,
way, we're gonna be watching both the English and the
I mean,
Japanese, so it doesn't matter if you're watching
mhm.
whichever first.
Exactly, exactly. But like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
If I have the opportunity to watch the
Yeah,
Japanese one first,
let's just hope you
I'm
get the
gonna think,
chance
"Alright,
to
let's
watch
do this."
the English version
Um,
first, at least in the theater. You know? Yeah.
like, like I watched the Scarlet
Oh,
Alibi,
wait.
when it was still in theaters, and now,
Yeah.
mind you, I'm not in Japan. Okay,
Oh.
so I got this, and it was a clean rip. It was everything, and it was shared to
Uh-huh.
me, and I posted it right on my Facebook page, that I saw it. So if you scroll down, you can see what date that was.
Uh-huh.
The way that was pieced together,
Oh.
it was constant like chills the entire time. Um, I I get it that a lot of it is
Yeah.
like just recompiled or remastered stuff that we've already seen, but like the way that they paced it was so perfect, and I kind of can't wait to
Uh-huh.
see it again in a little bit of better quality. But the quality I had was not bad. I mean, it was
Yeah.
still
And
above 720p.
I
Um,
don't think we'll be
so
seeing that
I
anytime
don't
soon,
know,
but
but
maybe if it
like
gets released in Japan, there's a good chance that we might see it.
yeah, I saw I
Oh.
saw a lot
Oh.
of web rips recently because it's recently been like released on streaming services, kind of like uh,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
some of the movies,
I mean,
the
that's
early
good enough,
English
I
movies when they
guess.
first came out.
But yeah, yeah.
So yeah, but I kind of hope that people start supporting the new Bing Zoom and not
Yeah.
wait to just download it, um, because and what I told people was this in my first podcast, or maybe it was the third one, I don't know. I was telling them, if you're gonna buy any of them, just one, you know, buy the 2016 remake of Episode
Yeah,
One, because that one sale,
for sure.
like that sale figure, is gonna tell them what to do with the series. One, they already titled it the trial, um, and depending on how that one does is what it's going to come forward. And personally, I think it's going to do well because they just announced that they're
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
start doing the Blu-rays again. Just like the other day, I just saw it, and I was just like, "That's a good sign." I think it was just because of
Yeah.
COVID that they uh, that's why they didn't
Yeah, I
release
mean,
like
you know what? I'm
Lucas
happy that they went
Sapphire,
digital
The
at
Darkest
least for the
Nightmare.
pandemic because
Um,
countries outside the US don't have a lot of opportunities to like get the
mhm.
movies. But now it's been like on the Play Store, on Apple, their store and like Amazon, and it's been almost everywhere. So people have had a chance to like see it. Like even I had like a guy I've posted a trailer. I've made a
And
trailer
what
or one of the movies, and like a guy like last year, if I had posted the trailer, a person would have literally come and asked, "Wait, what? They're making a dub?" But now I've seen a lot of comments of people who have actually seen who know about this new dub that's going on. So that's pretty amazing. So because it's moved on to digital, I feel like a lot of more people
mhm.
have recognized that it's around because it's for a whole lot more audiences now because a lot of people can watch it.
But yeah, but the one thing I don't like about how they're handling it this time, like Funimation, the way that they handled it was not good. And I don't know if you know this, but the guy who runs Funimation in the sense of
Hmm.
like making the decisions and stuff, he's a very strong, proud Japanese man, and he could not admit that he did Case Closed wrong. And that's why he did not continue to touch it because
Hmm.
he didn't want to admit like, okay, we need to retry a business strategy. And
Yeah,
they aired it out of order, everything. You know the story, so I'm not going to go into that. But when they let the rights run out, apparently there were like I said, like there were
yeah,
rumors that Discotek was looking, and they were sure enough. Here we are. And Bang Zoom was actually hired by TMS. So this is different than
yeah,
Funimation. Like Funimation was paying to dub it,
yes,
and then they dubbed it and sold it. TMS is paying to dub this, and I think what they're
yeah.
trying to do is trying to make like a full international dub, like for Singapore and
Yeah.
other countries that
This is
will
better.
use English
Yeah.
and just do an international dub. But that's all fine.
Uh-huh.
But the one thing I don't like that they're doing
Yeah.
about this is they're not promoting it correctly. Like it's just like a Twitter announcement and that's it. And the sad part about all this is like with Fist of Blue Sapphire, they didn't even like make a Twitter announcement. It just dropped on like Amazon,
Yeah.
it dropped on Amazon even earlier than it was supposed to,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
didn't even make a post about it until like this weekend.
Uh, at least
And
a month.
how long has it
At
been
least a
out?
month.
um,
Yeah.
a very long time. And I mean that even leaked on like what was it on a prior to that it leaked on like a wiki saying like, "Hey, it's coming out on May or whatever." I'm just like, I just don't understand how TMS Entertainment can do this. Like, I understand Bang Zoom and how they operate, but
Yeah.
they can't do
Yeah,
something
I
that
mean, the
TMS
way
doesn't
that
say,
they
especially when
treat
TMS
Lupin
is
is
paying
almost the
for it.
same, but for
Um,
the movie that they, the 3D Lupin movie that came out a while ago, did that have a trailer? I think that did, right?
yeah, look. I'm sorry. TMS Entertainment treats Lupin like I swear to God, and Discotheque does it too. If
Yeah.
you ever scroll through
It's
their
either
Twitter pages,
Lupin or
it's all
Doctor
Lupin the
Stone,
Third.
because
Like,
because of the recent season that
and
came out, or literally anything else. And then you can find maybe one or two Conan posts.
and when and I come down to like scrolling through whenever I see like a Conan post, I'm just like,
Yeah.
huh, neat, like because you just don't expect it. And the one thing I hope that they do, because if you look at every post that ever shows like, oh, new Conan this, or enter in this giveaway to win this Conan figure or whatever, every single comment is like, yeah, okay, cool, but what about the series? Like like they don't even care about the post that they just made.
Uh-huh.
They're like, and I feel like if we do get the episodes, okay, I feel like it's just gonna be
Yeah.
the manga based canon files. That's
Yeah.
it. And I could still see them
Do
even
you think?
cutting the ones that still
Yeah.
don't matter. Um, but I kind of hope
Yeah,
that
yeah. I
we
was like,
at
because
least get that. And
these
what were you saying?
actors for, the movies, the new dubbed cast, do you want them to stay around for the series when it eventually gets dubbed, or do you
Uh huh.
want
Yeah.
like another new cast? Yeah. I mean,
I
they've got
think they're just
some
gonna
big
stick with
names,
what they
like
got.
Jin is actually
But
pretty big, right?
the one thing is, yes, but like don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I would love Jerry Jewell back.
Yeah.
I believe that he is the natural voice of Shinichi. Everyone at least agreed with that when like 'cause a lot of people didn't hate hated the English names, but
Yeah.
everyone at least agreed if Shinichi spoke English, I'm sure that's what he would sound like. Um, and I loved what they did with in
Mm,
Conan's mind. It was always Jimmy, and it gave Jerry Jewell time to grow. Griffin Burns, despite sharing the last name with the guy, cannot. I'm sorry, he just doesn't. And a lot of people said like, "Oh, he even sounds like Shinichi's in some parts," and I can't see it. Like someone telling me that, and then listening to it, I can maybe. But if no one said anything, it doesn't. He's growing on me, but it's not like a loved thing. Like I feel like if they did the
mhm.
show and they added that same concept, I'd be okay.
Yeah.
I do like that they kept Kaido Kid and him having the same voice. I feel like that was mandatory to have. And I saw like a few of your pictures and banners
Yeah.
that you had, and that you
Sure.
also like Persona. So I'm gonna drop a cool fact on you.
Yeah, it is
Did you
Joker.
know that Did you know that
Yeah.
Mori Kogoro is voiced by is Joker? And I only fully know
Uh-huh.
that is because I do play a little bit of Persona. And but the one reason
Oh,
why I
and the
realized
hand,
that
right?
was
The
because I
big
also played
hand
Super
indeed.
Smash
Yeah.
Brothers, and
Yeah.
and the announcer for Super Smash
Uh,
Brothers is the same guy who voices Joker, and Joker's also in Smash, so there's that. But I did not know until that moment. I was just like, oh my god,
yeah.
Joker, and the announcer from Smash. Like, so I like Kogoro for that reason now, but
Oh.
I also talked to R. Bruce Elliott, and I've had him do a few things for me before. He did he did a few lines in
Wow.
the Desperate
Uh-huh.
Revival arc for me for a project that I did, and I never fully finished it. I never fully finished it. Like I'm
Hmm.
still missing some voice actors, and I never got around to finishing it. But I did upload one clip to my channel of him in the car, like saying like, "Where are these two? Why are they taking so long?"
Wow.
And I had him. I just uploaded that clip of him voicing that. Um, he's called me the murderer using my actual name and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
I love the man. He's fun to talk to. I did an interview with him a long time back, but I'm also friends with Allison Victorin on Facebook, but we really haven't talked that much. I'll be honest with at least that one. Like I tried to get her at one point, and
Oh,
we were like on a track, but it just never materialized, and that's
yeah.
okay. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna give up. I
Wow.
messaged Wendy Lee. She just read it and left me on red, and it broke my heart. But it's okay. At least Allison like told me like
Oh,
at certain
that's
points
good.
like not now, maybe later, or stuff like that. But like but it's okay. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna let Wendy Lee slide for now
Oh no.
because she sounds like Nier from Death Note and as Conan, and I'm like I'm okay with this. Like,
Uh-huh.
the only thing I don't like about Conan's new voice, the only thing, and I have a hard time with it is. You remember, like in the beginning of the series, like when he'd
Yeah, yeah,
go,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
and he try to act like a kid and sound like a kid.
Yeah. She's really good
It
at
just
being
does not rub
serious.
me the
That's
right
what I've
way
noticed.
when
She
Wendy
gets
Lee does it.
like the Conan
Uh,
deduction. She knocks it out of the park. Yeah.
like she,
Yeah.
she nails the
Yeah.
modern Conan, like what you, because Conan doesn't act like a kid that much anymore, and she nails that perfectly. But it's just like anything else. I don't know. She's growing on me, and I
Yeah.
feel like once she has time, if they do go back and do old episodes, that she will have to learn to master that because she did pretty decently in the episode one remake
Yeah.
with it when he was trying to convince Rachel of his name. My favorite performance so far of the dub is Erie Cascade because she sounds. I swear to God, between her first
Hmm.
appearance and her appearance in Zero the Enforcer, she had to see what Ava Caden sounded like because if you told me that it was the same actor, just a few years later, because of how long between
Hmm.
Funimation's dub and Bang Zoob's dub, I would have believed you. Like,
Yeah.
so
She
far,
she
she's my
she does a
favorite
good job.
voice.
Like what would you say like if you had to mix both the casts together? Who would be like your perfect casting? Yeah.
My perfect casting. Okay. Well, I have look. Both Jins are great, and
Yeah.
even like the people on the Save Case Closed stuff.
Yeah.
He said that Jin stole the show, and I took his word for it. Took his word for it. I'm
Uh-huh.
like, all right. And I have helped them before too. I tried also helping with something else, and I just didn't get time to finish it.
Oh no.
A lot of things happened. Like I lost my entire setup and everything too, and
Oh.
like I helped him do episode 911, I think it was, and then I was starting to do episode 128. I even made a custom opening, everything for it. It was great, and it just didn't fall through, and I'm really sad. And someone else did it, and I thought like I gave him the opening. I thought like, well, at least I thought you'd use the opening because he loved it so much. Like it was a really cool opening. I made like a fan English
Oh wait.
version using actual like sung lyrics by an official company using
Uh-huh.
and it's probably
Wait.
on there
How
too
long
for
ago
opening
was that?
five.
Like a few like maybe
Um, and he
2015?
and he, back in
Oh.
no back in December, I believe. I was just like recently helping him, and then I moved across the country after I
Oh
lost my
man.
setup, and I just recently got here and reset up my setup, and he already outsourced it to
Uh-huh.
somebody else. So I was like, okay, but I did finish episode I believe 911. It was that where McGuire comes up
Yeah.
and asks Richard for help, like he didn't know who else to turn to. And I
Uh-huh.
I uh
Yeah.
I edited that entire video for him.
Yeah, yeah.
And
He's
he
been
is nice, so we
really
talk every once
churning
in a
out,
while.
getting a lot of episodes out
But
as of recently, and they have been really good.
but what was I gonna say? But in terms of my perfect cast, I don't know. I have a real soft spot for the original Jin, so like
Yeah,
I can't
let's
I
hear
can't
him in like
say.
movie
I'm not saying that
24
he's
and then
bad.
decide,
I'm just
because
saying
he's gonna be
he,
prominent.
he didn't steal the show from me. Yeah. So I would say original Jin.
Yeah,
You may as well pair the two originals together. So
yeah.
I'll say original Vodka. Although I really did like the new Vodka.
Yeah.
Jody, I have nothing to compare it to, but she was perfect. Sherry is the really hard one because
Uh-huh.
I like the deep tone that she brings to Hybera, but in my opinion, and I just can't get out of my head, when I watched the first remake episode and it got to the part where Sherry spoke her first line, I was just so happy that she didn't sound bad, that they didn't ruin her,
Oh,
that it just became my instant favorite. So I'd probably have to say her, and it's really hard because
yeah.
I really like the Funimation voice of her, but I got to give that one to Bing Zoom. So I'd probably say that for her. Um, the kids, they all sound like exactly the same to me. George is the only one who didn't. He sounded really bad, but he sounds normal now. I feel like they just listen to the Funimation dub because they
Hmm.
have like the
The
accent of the
voices.
Japanese, but they sound like the English dubbed original. So the kids, I'm just gonna leave them. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
Uh, Jimmy,
Oh,
Jerry, gotta give it to Jerry. I actually met him at
what?
a con once, and he signed a CD.
Oh no.
And I made him say, and he looked at me like I was nuts. But
Uh-huh.
we were at a like it was like a Q and A, and I said, look, because
Uh-huh.
I saw him a few times like in certain interviews, but I never talked to him. And like one time, someone's
Oh
like,
no.
can you declare your love for Rachel in Jimmy's voice? He goes, and he goes, do you know why I go like this? He goes, Rachel. And he goes, because it gets you right here, doesn't it?
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, yep. So my question to him was,
Yeah, yeah,
and I could probably crop to somewhere and send it to you if you want. And
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I said to him, I said, look, Hybrid is my favorite character. And I was just like, could you say in Jimmy's voice, the same way that you do for Rachel, but
Oh
say
no.
Hybrid? And bro, I died. I died.
Oh no.
I was like, yes, I ruined some kind of fanfic, and it's great. Um, and for a short time in
Oh.
like the 500s or so, I shipped Ko-I for some odd reason. I did. I don't know why. And then I realized I'm like, wait a minute. If Conan gets Hybera, I just lost my wife. I'm like, nope, nope, he can't have her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what, Rachel, she waited too long. She deserves it. That was my stance. But so that
Mm-hmm.
was another cool story with Jerry.
Yeah.
So Jerry all the way. So you'll match that with Kaido Kid, Akai,
Yes.
brilliant, love him. English voice. I feel like if I
Yeah.
can't pick Sherry, I gotta say Akai was the steal of
For
the show for
sure.
me.
He's gonna be really
I can't
prominent,
wait to
and
see him
he's
in movie
gonna be
24.
so awesome
Uh,
in it because in the little bit
Great.
that we saw in movie 20, what was it? 22 or yeah. Okay.
20,
In movie 20,
20
he,
Akai
oh my
appeared if we're
God,
talking about
the
Akai. It
moment
was
he
20.
opened his mouth, there might be a clip somewhere, but I was literally, uh, I was literally speechless the moment he opened his mouth because, you have a high standard, like you have an expectation of his voice. Like listening to the Japanese, you expect something from him, and listening
Yeah,
to
exactly.
the Japanese and then coming to this, it was so good. Like one letdown that I had, like have you heard of Detective Billionaire? It's a anime. Uh, y- yeah. Yeah, so in
It
that,
sounds familiar,
there
but I
are
know that I
two
haven't watched
detectives,
it.
and
Watched it.
one detective has a really deep voice. And in the Japanese, it sounds so good. And then, we finally got it up here. And then when you hear the voice
Hmm.
that they gave for him in the English dub, it sounds so bad. Like as soon as everyone heard the voice, you can hear the entire internet facepalm. Like if you look at any of the comments on that video, where
Uh huh.
they show his voice, everyone's complaining about it. So I'm really happy that they did Akai justice and made him have such an incredible voice in the English dub.
I'm not gonna lie. I somewhat cheered and probably cried out of one eye. Okay, it made my day. It was like, thank God. Akai's my favorite character. Like everyone's like, where's Conan Shinichi on your list? Top five, maybe top eight. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
Akai, Sherry, and Jody are my favorite characters, hands down. Akai's number
Yeah.
one because I mean it's really Sherry, but you can't just because she's your waifu, you can't do that. So Akai's my favorite character, hands down. And so when I saw Akai, I was just like, okay, great, we're good.
Yeah.
Um, and it chills when he talks. To me, that's who stole the show,
Ooh.
and I can't wait to see what Okiya Subaru
Yeah.
sounds like. That's what I'm really excited about. Um, because I feel it's gonna be top tier. I feel it's gonna be better than
Let's see.
Akai. I'm saying it now. Um, I feel it. Who else did we get that? So who else? Let's see.
Hmm.
Agasa, the original Agasa, hands down, because I don't know where his Italian accent went.
Uh-huh.
Like even in the Japanese, you can hear it a little bit, not as much, but you can hear it. And this guy just sounds just like, I don't want to say American, but it just don't sound right. I'm like, you
Yeah.
realize he's got an Italian nose, right? Like I mean, the poor man had pasta sauce in his mustache. Like, look, I don't know. It rubbed me the wrong way. It rubbed me the wrong way. That was the only one that actually fully stopped me in my tracks, where I was like, no. And there's no hate to the
You're
actor. 'Cause
accepting
it's
it.
growing on me. Not in the growing in the
Uh-huh.
sense like I like
Yeah,
it.
I mean, the
It's growing on me in the
Funimation
sense of I
Funimation
can
did
live with
whatever
it.
they wanted with the series. They didn't like
um,
follow the Japanese to a T, so uh-huh.
and see the one thing that bothers me about
Uh-huh.
how what the people say about the original English dub. And look, I don't stick
Uh-huh.
up for Funimation because they're the reason why I don't have English Conan, or why I didn't. Thank you, Bing Zoom. Um, because a lot of people don't know or understand that
Hmm.
Funimation did not
Yeah.
make those English names. Those were all Gosho. And they're actually very, and I said this before in a different podcast, but I like to tell each person that I talk to when we talk
Hmm.
about this topic, um, they were very cleverly translated. And I don't know if anyone's ever told you
Oh.
this. Jimmy and Shinichi both mean one truth. Um,
Uh-huh.
More
Yeah.
is actually perfectly translated to from Maori. So if like they were to come to
Oh.
from Japan to America, their last name would be pronounced Moore. Um, Same thing with Rachel. If Rachel came to
Hmm.
Japan, if Ran came to America, her name would translate to Rachel. Um, Richard, Richard in America, another name for
Oh.
Richard is Dick. Another word for Dick is also detective. So it was perfect in that
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Maguire from Magire
Yes.
or Megare, however you want to say it. It's just that close enough type thing. But for the core cast, their names were perfectly translated,
Hmm.
and in my opinion, are just as good. And so when people hate on Funimation for it, I'm like, y'all realize that you're hating on Gosho,
Yeah,
and if
yeah.
people knew it was Gosho, I guarantee you they wouldn't have opened their mouth. Um, Gosho
Mm.
is a huge English sitcom fan. He likes a few movies. Like a lot of people don't know, Jodie Starling.
Oh.
She's actually based off the actress Jodie Foster,
Um,
and her role of Shirley Starling. He took a name from both, and made Jodie Starling. So, I mean, he is a huge American
mm.
TV fan, and people just don't know that. And I was just like, so before you go
Yeah.
hating on the names, at least know it was the man in the big chair who made them. Um, like for all you know, this man
Yeah.
who loves American TV so much, his original name could have been Jimmy. like,
Yeah.
um, so talk to the Japanese people and say, why'd you change the names? But
Yeah.
I
I mean,
I
even
don't
if
know.
they had kept the names
Funimation,
the
it was
same, I
sad to
mean,
see
if
it
they had
go.
changed the names, I feel like they
But
shouldn't have gone with case closed.
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like they still would have had complaints. Yeah. Look, and this
Uh-huh.
might be me being nostalgic and binging the
Uh-huh.
show and then being upset when I realized that there was 26 more
Uh,
seasons. But I like Case Closed better. And that's why you may have noticed on my if you
yeah.
looked at my page,
Uh-huh.
I try to label it as Case Closed as
Yeah.
much as I can. Um, that's just because that's also the Western branding right now too, which I thought was really clever. What they did, if you ever got the, I think I read somewhere that you got it through somebody or you found a way to get your copy
Uh-huh.
of
No,
the DVD
no,
Blu-ray.
I
I
didn't.
don't know if you ever end up getting it or if I'm remembering wrong. But it was
Yeah, on the
very
outside,
clever.
and
What
then
they
it
did
says,
is it
yeah,
says case closed
yeah,
on
yeah,
the
yeah,
slip cover, but it says Detective Conan on the inside. And I was like, that's actually very smart. Um, I don't
yeah,
know. I like the case closed branding, but I
yeah,
like the Detective Conan branding just as much
hmm
because I watch it in Japanese. So
yeah,
it doesn't really make a difference to me. But I do like the case closed name. But I like the Detective Conan name because it also gives it its own. I don't want to say
yeah.
identity because when you think case closed, you can get it mixed up with
Yeah,
any other
I
case
think
show
that
to
case
exist.
closed,
Um,
it
but
kind of like separates it from Detective Conan a bit sometimes. So like when you think case closed, you think the old 150 episodes, the first six
mhm.
movies,
but
and then when you think of Detective Conan, you think of the new dub that's come out,
yeah,
and then that kind of yeah,
but
uh-huh,
yeah, but it's smart why they did it because for two reasons. And once again, this is like trivial knowledge that not many people know.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
the manga has sold so well here, um,
hmm
in the sense that it's always on the top of the bestseller list, like in the newspapers. Like it's always high,
hmm
which blew my mind because I didn't know that till like a year or
yeah,
so
yeah, for
ago.
sure,
And so using that same name is helpful. Um, the show, that
yeah,
everybody ran for 5 seasons, so people who watched that before are like, oh, I know what Case Closed is. And also just legal reasons they have to. Um,
uh-huh,
but I feel like it's a great marketing tool, but at the same time, I could see the want for Detective Conan, and I'm not saying I wouldn't mind if it was just called Detective Conan here too. I wouldn't mind it. I'm not saying like I
hmm
prefer Case Closed. I just, hey, it's there. I'm going to use it. Um,
Yeah, I mean,
but
personally, I didn't grow up with Case Closed. I
I
grew
can
up
see
with
what you
Detective
mean.
Conan, so maybe that's something that I feel like it's
Uh-huh.
because I didn't see Case Closed maybe until 2004
Yeah,
or 5 or 6, I think. I'm not sure, but yeah, yeah,
because like let's just say like legal reasons. Let's flip flop it.
yes,
And let's say Japan, they called it Case
yeah.
Closed.
No,
We called it
I think
Detective Conan
I
because
read,
Case Closed would have been a
yeah,
copyright here. Okay? And I grew up watching it.
yeah,
I would probably say I would prefer to call it Detective Conan, in my opinion. Detective Conan is the better name,
yeah. I
but
feel like
just because I
I
grew up
think
with
I
Case Closed
remember
and that's
reading
what I
somewhere
always
that they
called
had
it.
some dispute with
Uh,
Conan O'Brien being called Conan O'Brien and no, Conan the Barbarian being confused with Detective Conan.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was yeah. Yeah, and
Oh
then
yeah,
Conan
2 years ago,
O'Brien
right?
made. I don't know if you saw any of those videos,
Yeah.
but they were hilarious. He he flew to Japan. He said no. I never liked Conan O'Brien, and I couldn't get around to
Oh no.
liking him. But we had to watch a lot of him in like my American
Uh-huh.
government class. I don't really remember why, but I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you one thing. I gained
Yeah.
somewhat of a respect for him when he did that because it was just hilarious. Um, and it's funny when you could talk when someone can talk about your
Yeah.
interest, they suddenly become, if you didn't like them before, you like them now, or you like them just for that one moment in time. Um, it I don't know.
hmm
I was shocked that they played back. Like I was really shocked when I saw the mayor of Conan Town like respond
Yeah.
back. I was just like,
That was
okay,
pretty
this is
cool.
it
At
was
least,
funny.
it reminded people.
But I would, yeah, and I feel like that was a really good marketing tool.
Yeah.
Like in all honesty, I know it was
Yeah.
accidental. It was from a talk show. Talk shows
hmm
always like to cause problems, but I feel like that was a good also another marketing tool. It put Conan's name back out there. When was the last time? Because we all know it wasn't TMS Entertainment
Yeah.
broadcasting an advertisement, or Adult Swim. Okay,
Yeah.
but like that
Yeah.
was like the first time Conan
For
has been on
sure.
American television in a very long time. And I was happy to see that because I feel like that was
hmm
putting up there. But Conan has been doing so well in the states since like maybe 2016 or before.
Yeah.
Uh, it has a 5-star rating on Crunchyroll. Netflix
hmm
uploaded just random episodes from like in the 700s or so.
Whoa.
and it got that rare Netflix
Uh-huh.
5-star rating. And in my opinion, Conan's doing so well in the States, and I feel like this
Hmm.
international dub, it's taking off well. Because if it wasn't, you know,
Yeah.
damn well they wouldn't have said, "Hey, we're coming back and making more DVDs, and staying digital."
Hmm.
Um, I was really scared. I was really
Yeah.
scared that movie 21, the Crimson Love Letter, is what killed the DVDs originally. Because that was the second DVD launch. And look, I'm not gonna lie to you when I say I did not care for that
Uh-huh.
movie in the slightest. I
Uh-huh.
got it. I had it all downloaded in
Oh no.
Japanese and everything, subtitles, and I tried starting it like 4 times, and I couldn't. I
Uh-huh.
couldn't. And when
Uh-huh.
the dubs were coming out, I purchased all these dubs at least once before I download
Hmm.
them, whether I buy the DVD or I buy it digitally off Amazon. And um, I was just like alone by myself. I had the flat screen hooked up. I had a pizza made and everything, and I was like, "What do I do tonight?" And I was scrolling through Amazon for whatever
Uh-huh.
reason, and I saw that they uploaded the Crimson Love Letter in English, and I'm like, "Okay, all right, this is the time." And
Oh.
so I guess I did technically watch an English movie first. Now that I think about it,
Uh-huh.
I did, and it it was actually watchable. It was not watchable the first time. No, it was. It was not. It was such a bad movie.
Yeah.
But watching the English voice cast made it like I enjoyed it because of the English voice cast, and um, I feel
No
like
way.
if anybody watched that movie as their
Uh-huh.
introduction, I could see why they turned the cheek. In my opinion, worst Detective Conan movie out of them all. I'm not saying it's
Uh-huh.
unwatchable and bad. I just couldn't get into it.
Uh,
I
and
don't know if you feel the
I
same way or how you felt
yeah,
about it. I'm not going to judge you.
I
If you
didn't watch the
someone liked it,
Japanese completely, to
that's
be
your
honest.
vendetta.
I might have watched half of it, but then, later, Infinity Productions
Okay.
did release, a clip like a year or two ago, and that was like the climax of the movie. And I listened to it and I was like, damn, that sounds really good.
Uh huh.
So, just to compare it to the fan dub, I just went and I watched the movie through.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy it a lot. It wasn't the strongest Sick Conan movie out there. We
Mm-hmm.
have a whole lot to choose from, so it's definitely not the top 10
Yeah.
movies for me for sure. It was okay, I guess. I wouldn't watch it again though, but I did watch the dub.
I I won't lie.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I won't lie though. I mean, that movie had a good climax though. Like it had
yeah.
like the cool Conan movie like climax that you expect it to have, but it died right back down afterwards. But like, I didn't want it to end when
Hmm.
I was watching it towards the end because one,
Yeah.
the climax was decent, so it got you somewhat engaged, and I didn't want the English voice cast to go away. Like, I was there. I'm invested. But to me, it's the weakest Conan movie. I'm not saying it's fully bad. It's just one I could not get into, but you could tell that it tried very hard
Uh-huh.
to mimic what movie 7 brought to the
Yeah.
table. It didn't succeed, but that's what it tried to
Hmm.
do. But the one thing I like about movie 24 though, the Scarlet Bullet, is this is the first
Oh.
new movie done by the new era director that we have.
Hmm.
So like the people who's like directing like the Conan series and stuff like that, this is his first movie. Uh, and you want to know what? For your first movie, and you're beating all the movies out of the park,
Yeah.
like, all
We'll
right,
have to
you
watch
can
the
stay.
movie.
You can stay. I think. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm excited to see it. Like who knows? He can flop, but I'm
I
just saying
mean, if you have
from the
Akai
trailers,
and Sarah and
I believe in this guy.
most of the
Um,
back organization people in your movie, I don't think you can flop that hard. You know? Yeah.
Um, yeah. Now, speaking of new era of Conan and the boss and everything that we got into, I brought this up twice
Uh-huh.
on my podcast before. One by
Hmm.
episode just featuring me just discussing, and the other one on the
Yeah.
last episode. And I want to try to get at least as many people's opinion as I
Hmm.
can, because for this first one,
Hmm.
everyone tells me I'm messed up and that I'm a terrible person, and
Okay.
that's okay. So I want your opinion on me being a terrible person. Um,
Uh-huh.
I think for the story that Dr. Argasa should die in the end of the series. I
Um,
don't look. I love Dr. Argasa as much as the next guy,
uh,
but this is the way that it has to happen. If it happens any other way, it's wrong, and I agree that I'm a terrible person.
uh,
But like, I feel like it's gonna drive the story home in the sense of the Block
uh,
organization. They figure
eh,
everything out,
uh-huh.
and they realize it was Dr. Agasa harboring these
Hmm.
two. They Jin and Vodka bombed the place, but it just so happened that
Uh-huh.
Shinichi and Sherry were not there, and
Uh-huh.
it brings Conan's like if you remember in
Yeah.
episode 128
Yeah.
when Sherry's sister died, he didn't know it was Sherry's sister. He didn't know Sherry existed,
Hmm.
and he said, "That's it. This just
Yeah.
became personal. I'm gonna
Uh-huh.
take you down with my own hands." That was from some random bank teller that you somewhat were acquainted with, and now
Yeah.
it's
And,
personal.
I'll just take that
Now
point
it's
a
your
bit
best friend.
further
What are you
and
gonna
I'll
do?
say her
Um,
sister died. He felt it's personal. What do you think if they kill off Hypera? Uh-huh.
Look, they can't because for two reasons. One, uh, I do not. Waifu can't die. Two,
Okay, how about
Gosho
if they
also
kill off
said Hybra
Anakai?
is his favorite character. There is no way he's killing off his favorite character. Look, then we got
Yeah.
problems.
No.
Okay,
I mean,
I
like,
I
pull off a
haven't
stunt that
recovered from the
Akai did
first time.
with
Okay,
Hybra.
like oh that'd be pretty messed up, especially if they made me wait 200 episodes. Um, putting that one out there. I would have a real problem. I had
Oh.
a real hard time watching the Beltree Express episode. Um,
Hmm.
I was very, very upset. But I watched that whole thing through because the
Hmm.
version I have is all the
Yeah.
episodes of that arc.
Oof.
What is it, 3 or 4 parts in one file. So it plays the entire thing like a movie. So, I didn't get a
Yeah.
break from that. At least I didn't have to wait like weekly for that either, because that would have been really bad. Imagine waiting 4 weeks to like realize. um,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how far you are in the manga, and I only know this because I spoil myself sometimes by reading wikis, and I shouldn't, but I do. Um,
Oh, what?
and they're about to do an Akai thing again. I'm not gonna say with who. I'm not gonna tell you how.
Oh,
But
wait, is that a
apparently they're
leak
gonna do
or?
something like they did with Akai again. So we're gonna have an
Oh, wait, what?
no. It's already out in the manga. So if you read the manga, uh, it's already happened. The manga's 4 to 6 months always ahead of us. Um, so I'm not gonna say who or
Wait,
how or
so,
what, but it's something to look
wait.
forward to because
Let me
that
just
was really
check what
cool.
chapter I'm on just to
Um,
be sure.
cause
Uh-huh. So wait, was it after the rum
it was a
reveal or
while
was it
ago.
before the rum
Uh,
reveal?
that was in the
That's the
manga. I don't read the
question.
manga. It was after
Oh
it
yeah,
was
wait, then
after
I would
he
have
knew
read
who
it. I
the
mean,
boss
yeah,
was.
I'm almost caught up with the manga. Like, yeah,
I
yeah,
haven't
I'm
seen
up
this
till
because this hasn't
Feb.
been in the anime
Yeah.
yet. But like I said, I read it. If you remember, if you remember, like I said, how
Uh-huh.
Ron was telling Bourbon for information of Kudo Shinichi.
Yeah, yeah,
Then he
yeah,
told
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Vermouth
yeah.
to look into Yusaku Kudo. Um, so it
Uh-huh.
should be like right after or right before that case that he told Vermouth. Uh,
Uh-huh.
it's before or after. I don't remember
Oh wait,
which because I skim and
the
I
anime.
try to stop
Okay.
reading
Yeah.
because
Yeah, it's been a long
I
time
want to
since I've
experience
seen the anime because I usually just catch up with the
the
manga.
anime.
Like,
Um,
yeah, I should have seen it. Might have been a while ago though.
but um, cause I want to read the manga, but
What
I
the?
also just like there's no cool music like when badass stuff happens, so I can't do it.
Hmm.
And I guess it's because I have this mental image in my head of
Ooh.
episode 7 when he kicks the ball through the fence and the main theme's playing, and I'm just like that couldn't
Yeah.
have looked cool. That couldn't have looked cool in the
Uh-huh.
manga. So I can't do it. I
Yeah,
can't.
the main
And
reason I
maybe it's just
became
like
manga
OCD of
only
me.
is
I don't
because of
know, but
the
I
anime
can't.
filler episodes.
I'm yeah. So I, one thing I'm happy about because like the last season of
Yeah.
Conan has been like 95% filler, and I don't know what's going on. But just
Yeah.
recently we've been getting like a lot of manga based files, and I'm starting to think that maybe this
Hmm.
timeline is right because maybe they're gonna try to start lining up with the manga more and like trying to get
Um,
it closer so like they can end them nearing the same time. I don't know if I
I,
can avoid the I don't know if I can avoid the internet for four to
I
six
mean,
months
Attack of
while
Titan
everyone else knows
has
the
been
ending and I
like,
don't. Like,
I mean, we've been able to stay away from Attack on Titan for a while, the ending. So I think maybe we could stay away from the Detective Conan
mhm.
ending.
I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know. I might have to hop on the manga
Hmm.
like it's a like this is a video game term. I might have to hop at the end of the manga as if it was a Koro Koro leak. Like a Koro Koro leak is like when
Ooh,
a magazine scan leaks and talking about video games. Like I'm gonna
oof.
have to hop on the manga
Oh
like it
no.
was a leak and read it as if it was a leak before it actually gets spoiled because I can't. If someone spoils the ending of Detective Conan for me, I'm gonna flip my lid
Oh
because I
no.
did not just waste my entire life
Yeah, I
um,
mean,
watching this
maybe
show.
someone might just like DM you though. You can't even stop it because like if someone DMs you the ending, like I got spoiled on the ending of Avengers
No,
Endgame by one of my friends, and that was like the worst feeling ever. And I
yeah.
literally blocked that guy for a day. Uh-huh.
Um, I know my friend ain't gonna watch
Ooh, oh
this,
no.
and if anyone hasn't seen
Yeah.
Detective Pikachu yet, I'm sorry. I'm about to spoil things here.
Uh-huh.
Skip a few seconds, but I finished watching the movie,
Uh-huh.
and I messaged a
Oh
friend who was gonna
no.
see it the following
Don't
day.
tell me.
I'm sorry, I did wrong. I feel like a criminal now, but I didn't mean to do it. And
Uh-huh.
she's we were talking about the movie, and she's like, can't wait to go see it tomorrow. And I forgot what she said to me or how she said it or how I responded, but in rough terms, uh, I was talking about how the movie is unfaithful or something, and I'm just like to the source material in the sense of where I
No.
said, yeah, okay, tell me when Mewtwo can transfer souls. And she goes, does Mewtwo transfer souls with somebody? And I said, no.
Oh
And
no.
then when she watched the movie, she said, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I
No.
apologize. I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean to spill it like that. And uh, yeah. Well, and look, I was upset. I was like, that doesn't make sense. Like, you two can't do that.
Uh-huh.
um, so it's fine. But the main theory I
Yeah.
have that I think will actually happen, and I talked about this last episode too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how I think it's gonna
Mm-hmm.
end, besides talking to Ran in an isolated moment in danger, I'm gonna count Ran out
Mm-hmm.
of the picture. I'm not saying Rand's gonna be in the same room as this problem here. I don't know, but
Mm-hmm.
Conan. At least it's gonna be Conan, Vermouth, Jin, and then the
Mm-hmm.
boss or Rum or whoever. But Conan's gonna be at the top, and
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna be Jin because Jin can't contain himself.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and he's gonna fire at Conan.
Yeah.
He's gonna try to shoot
Yeah.
Conan. Vermouth's gonna take the bullet. Okay, and then the
Oh,
boss is
okay.
gonna kill whoever
I think it
shot
might be vodka,
uh
Vodka
Vermouth.
might,
Okay,
yeah.
and and
Uh-huh.
and and in Conan's dying arms, Vermouth is gonna
Uh-huh.
say, but in order to save
Mm-hmm.
somebody, a
Mm-hmm.
logical mind isn't needed, right? And she'll die. But I feel like that will be
Uh,
the most bitter sweet moment to their entire to the and look. In all
and-
honesty, I feel like that would be the best scene in Detective Conan, because look, and this is coming from somebody
Mhm.
I would actually, for a split moment of time,
Uh-huh.
care about Vermouth
Yeah. Yeah.
because I don't like her, one bit. She look. it's one thing
Hmm.
that she protects Conan and Rachel. That's fine. That's great. That makes you an awesome character. But you try to kill Sherry, and that's no bueno.
Yeah, the moment
Not
you
okay with
said
that. And so
kill off
I hate her
her,
guts
that's
for that.
immediately where my mind went
Um,
to.
and I the one no,
Uh-huh.
and I feel like the one thing I like about Gosha's
Hmm.
characters that I think is really cool is you don't have to like
Hmm.
the character. Like for example, like I can use Vermouth as a prime example. And same thing with Bourbon. I have a love hate relationship with Bourbon. I hate what Bourbon
Uh-huh.
does, and he doesn't care who he hurts to get to the organization. Like he'll throw Akai, he'll throw
Yeah.
Shinichi under the bus. Not knowing that Shinichi's Conan, maybe I don't
Hmm.
know, but it's just like the fact that you're willing to throw these people under the bus. I can't. I don't like him for that, but I like him as a character
Yeah.
because whenever he shows up, you know it's about to go down. Um,
Hmm.
and that's the one thing I like about his characters. Like, if you don't like the character, it doesn't matter because at least you
Yeah.
like the fact that the
For the
character's
record,
there
he's my favorite
because
character.
what they bring to the table.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
oh, Bourbon. Okay, Bourbon's up there. Besides being a filthy traitor, to Shinichi,
Yeah.
but he made a little bit of a redemption, and then eventually he was stopped by the parents.
Hmm.
So I mean, overall, he's back. I gave him some more brownie points.
Yeah.
But I love Bourbon. Bourbon and Akai, they're great, and I
Hmm.
feel like they just became like I feel like Conan, Bourbon, and Akai are like the
Yeah. Like I was an
they're just
anime only
like the three boys
until
of the main cast.
Bourbon
I
became
feel.
like the main character, and then I had to like catch
Um,
up with the manga to see what happens. Hmm.
I would say when I fully got like sucked into the sub because it took me a while. Like I still
Hmm.
binged it. Like I binged like when I took a short break between the dubbed and the sub because I was so upset. Um, and when I jumped back into it, I literally watched from when it started in
Hmm.
Japanese to 742, and then I had to watch once a week like a normal person. Um, and Bourbon, like getting to like the three Bourbon suspect arc,
Yeah.
that's what really sucked me in. And then from here on,
Yeah.
I was just glad that we got that rum arc
Yeah.
where it was like it gave us that same thing again. Uh, I love when they do that,
Yeah.
and the sad part is I feel like that's the last time. Like we know who the boss is, we know who second in the command is. You can't do that again. Like,
Hmm.
which is a
Yeah.
shame because I really love that aspect. I kind of wish they did that with the boss. Um, I feel like the only reason why between two, I'm not gonna say what
Yeah.
episode because I don't want to give it away. I'm gonna say the 200s is where the boss appears. I'm not gonna say which episode.
Hmm.
Um, but from the 200s and never bring him up again until
Yeah.
now, it just I feel like he knew the ending then.
Hmm.
Okay, he knew at least who the boss was, and he didn't change his stance on that because it feels so lackluster for that to
Yeah. I
be the
mean,
reason. I'm just like,
I had forgotten about
I
that
don't know. I
case
don't feel
when
it.
I heard about the boss,
And
and yeah, yeah, exactly.
I I
Yeah.
had to rewatch the episode when I heard who the boss was. I was like, um, I I th- I don't know.
Hmm.
Go show.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like he changes the story somewhere to extend it, and I would love to know what his
Yeah.
original envisionment was of the series, and maybe he'll tell us. But
Hmm.
like, I at least want a spin-off series or
Oh.
movies to continue with him being an adult.
Hmm.
Because what I think what's gonna happen
Hmm.
will be Erie and Kogoro get back together, maybe sure. Um, Conan, not Conan.
Uh-huh.
That'd be weird. Shinichi and
Hmm.
Ran, they'll get married. Okay, and they're gonna have
Oh
a baby,
no.
and his name's gonna be
Oh
Conan.
no. That sounds.
I I'll
I
bet
don't
right
know.
now
That
on it.
gives me PTSD.
I and
Uh.
look, and I'm not a huge Naruto fan. I mean,
Hmm.
I love the GameCube, Clash of Ninja 2 or whatever. That was a fun game. Um, but I feel it's gonna get the Naruto
Hmm.
treatment, and I could also totally see. I see it more so in the movies,
Oh.
but I could see them doing like a reboot of the show
I don't think
where
Gosho would
it's
be up for it
following
though.
like
He's
Shinichi's
already
child,
pretty old.
being like a detective. Look, Look, and I'm not saying he doesn't have to write it. Because I'm gonna tell you, there's no way they're
Uh-huh.
giving up on this cash cow. You want to know the only real reason why we're getting English dub of the show now? Because the show's
Yeah.
probably ended,
I
and
think,
they need a
it's more
new
likely
audience
for
to
them to
keep
sell the
milking the
rights
series
for
to.
making a movie to Hollywood before, they start a new spin-off. Like what Death Note did. Hmm.
Because look, I'll tell you
Hmm.
right now, if they knew in their head that this show's going another 10 years,
Yeah.
they would not have tried to push an English dub, because that costs money and everything else, and not knowing when an ending's in sight, and then to expect to dub the episodes too, and knowing that the episodes would still be going,
Yeah.
they know deep down, they know their time
Hmm.
window, because there's no way that they jumped
Yeah.
from the immediate moment Funimation gave up the rights to start. There was no thought. They had this
Yeah.
whole
Yeah,
plan
just a 1 year
of
turnaround, I
already
believe.
in motion because it was instantaneous. Um, it wasn't even that. I mean, like, because when
Yeah.
Funimation was still holding the rights, there
Yeah.
were all
I
the
believe,
leaks from
yeah.
Discotheque looking at the
Yeah.
brand.
I believe Funimation
And you
lost the
can't look at
rights
a
in July
brand
and they started
that is
recording in
used.
November. If yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But I feel like Funimation told them like
Yeah.
in advance, like, we're not renewing this, like, we're gonna let it die.
Hmm.
Um, because that's crazy. Not only did they get the cast and dub the episode and have it ready for an anime con, and I'm so happy I got my hands on it, because I'm somewhat glad to be like almost practically the first person to like show off the full English,
Hmm.
not the full English voice cast, but like some of the new English voices like right away. Um, I'm so very proud of that. Not that like it had a high reach of people
Yeah.
to see it, but it just like seems like pretty cool. Like if you just like look at the date, it's just like, um, but I
Uh-huh.
don't know. And what's really interesting, because I have both versions
Oh wait, you were at the actual
of what
con?
was shown off in the panel, and then
Oh.
no, I got the rip from the con
Uh-huh.
of and that's how I got the voices. Now, what
Oh
was
yeah, the
so
one with the
cool,
Arabic
and
subs,
like
right?
this isn't a cam rip. It was legitly like what they put on the screen. Yeah. And
Uh-huh.
I scrubbed and dubbed the audio, and so it's just the voices. And when I had that, I noted I have that
Yeah.
version, and then now naturally I have the version
Oh.
that's out now,
What?
and there was dialogue changes in between that time. They're not the same like, so for example, like when Conan's sitting in the car and he goes, Armoro, do you
Uh-huh.
have a girlfriend? That the part that was cut out in that version due to the
Oh.
DVD release, he didn't say what he said in Japanese. He said something different. But in the Japanese, I mean, in the DVD release, he goes, "Yeah, this country, or my country, or whatever." He did not say that in the dub, and then in the original like panel dub, and then in the panel dub when he goes,
Mm-hmm.
when they go through the intro and they're like, "This is Toru Amuro. His real identity is chief of the security police," but
Uh-huh.
in the DVD version, he goes, "And this is Bourbon." Like,
Uh-huh.
and they didn't call him Bourbon in the opening of the panel release. So like there were like changes, and I wonder. I'm just like, did they
I
spend more
believe
time on this,
the
or did
version
they
that you
change
got
it
was the one with the
specifically for
Arabic
certain
subs, right?
reasons? But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That must have been edited to for
yeah, like
the Middle Eastern region, I believe. So that might have been changed a little bit. So the one that you got might have been the localized. The one that we finally got was the localized American version, and
yeah.
the one that we got released. That happens sometimes, like even with other movies. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it was just yeah. I think it was just early though, cause like this was
Oh,
like a
yeah, yeah, yeah,
rushed
for
thing.
sure.
Cause some of the stuff even sounds better in some parts, and
Hmm.
I feel like in my
Yeah.
opinion, I feel like it
Yeah.
was just this is the test, and that's all it was. It was a test screening.
Oh.
because they had the official staff from TMS Entertainment Japan watching. Um, they were seeing how people reacted to it. This wasn't just like, hey, check out a cool project we're doing. This was totally a
Mm-hmm.
let's see what let's see what this does. See what kind of changes we have to make. Um, because you could tell some stuff was just like low budget. If you look at like also once again going back to the
Uh-huh.
opening, they really heavily zoom in on Amuro's picture right away. It's already pre-zoomed. You don't see Jin Baka or any of them. But in the full version release, it's a big wide shot, and they
Oh.
actually, uh, show all the
Uh-huh.
members, and then they zoom into Amuro. Um, so like there were like even like full on editing changes. Like I said, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like it was just like a total like test dump. Whatever they had ready,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and then they finished it and then put it out for retail. Because you can't
for
release
sure.
something not
Yeah,
fully up to quality standards and then try to sell it, especially not at
yeah. I
the
mean,
freaking price
once
that we sell
before it gets
Blu-rays
to,
for.
the American market, it does go through a lot of changes because they test it out in other markets first. And in this case, they did test it at the con before, finalizing everything and then
Hmm.
going forward with the Blu-ray release. So the differences might be a bit noticeable for sure because it was the first ever time.
But I yeah, but I really think it was weird because in the same time frame they
Oh
also
yeah,
showed off
and
the
just like
Crimson Love Letter and
yeah,
the 2016 remake behind closed doors again. And I'm just like, then why the hell didn't you
yeah,
show the movie, because they were all done at the same time. So it's just like, why didn't you
yeah,
show the 2016 remake first? Like, it just doesn't, in my opinion, make sense to show movie 22 that's full of spoilers and new
yeah.
characters. Um, sure, the story was maybe cooler, but
Hmm.
it's also one thing that's really odd is the order they're airing these movies. Like, we just recently got 20, then we got 23, then we got 19. I'm like, pick a lane. I'm sorry. Uh, but I do know, like I told you before, I do know movie 24 and movie 18
Yeah.
should be, in theory,
Yeah,
should be our
18
next
should be
movies,
out sooner than 24 for
as
sure.
long as everything's correct. And yeah, I feel like we will get 24 either shortly after
Yeah.
or as soon as digital releases for Japan. Um, and
Yeah.
that's the one thing that came out of the delay that was good. Like
Yeah. So,
they
the
had
people
time
that
to
you talked to, did they watch
internationalize the entire thing.
their localized version or
Um,
did they watch the English version or the Japanese version? Just in general, to everyone. Like you've spoken to a
you mean
lot
on
of
the
people.
podcast or just in general? Because I've gotten so everybody that I have ever showed this show
Uh-huh.
to, I have successively caught them, and I think it's because I showed them the Funimation dub first. Um,
Yeah.
People can say whatever they want about the dub. Like I said, I know it had its errors.
Yeah.
I know Harley told Conan that Jin and Vodka were the people who
Yeah.
drugged him. Like you don't even know who Jin and Vodka are. The original line read, "Look out for
Yeah.
Gin and Vodka; those are killers." In the sense of like that's really strong alcohol, but and the Funimation took it as, "Oh, Gin and Vodka are the name of the killers," so that's what he meant. And then Conan the next episode is like, "Oh, yeah, that's right. Harley told me." No, Harley did not. Okay. And then one time they called Sherry Shelley. Okay, so in my opinion, they made two mistakes. Okay,
Yeah.
sue me, but like they westernized it so well that's probably why I liked it. Like in all honesty, growing up, I
Hmm.
did not like crime shows, and crime shows are very inaccurate because
Yeah.
the police hate them and they won't share information with them. The police love Gosho.
Hmm.
They help him show him things. Gosho tests all of his crazy things out to make sure that they work. Um,
Yeah.
so I Case Closed is very special in that sense, but I wouldn't have
Yeah.
still fallen in love
Maybe.
with it if I watched it in Japanese first. It would have been not for me. How this worked for me was, and I'm gonna really shorten this up because people who listen to these, I bring it up all the time. Um, I recently moved We had
Uh-huh.
internet. I didn't have internet at the time where I moved, and my friend was putting a bunch of anime on my computer. First time anime, by the way, at the time. And
Mm-hmm.
he asked me yes or no if I wanted it, an anime to try it, and I'd say yes or no, and he listened to me. But when it came to case closed, he didn't give me an option.
Uh-huh.
I said no, and so I was like, I'll just delete it when he leaves. Cool. And first thing I could say by looking at him, I'm like, he's got some big ass ears.
Uh-huh.
The same for me. And out of curiosity, I saw the thumbnails of Conan Shinichi, and I thought maybe it was like a changing thing or whatever. I watched the first episode, and that's what
Um,
kept watching because I was like, okay, he shrunk, but is he changing back and forth? Like, what's going on? Thumbnails are just broken, but that's whatever. And I fell in
mhm.
love with the with Ran or Rachel catching
Uh-huh.
on, and then I fell in love with the cast because the cast was so colorful, and
Yeah.
then I fell in love with the cool cases because they were so intricate. None was like the last, and then sure enough, I'm sucked into
Yeah.
the whole experience, and I kept
Oh
going
wait,
from
so you
there.
caught
But I
up
guess only
with
5 seasons
Conan
I could do
after
this, and well, here I
Funimation
am today.
stopped dubbing the
Um,
series? Oh, okay. So 2010, around
yeah,
2010.
I yeah, no, I started watching in it was
Uh-huh.
it was either summer of my freshman year or
Uh-huh.
it was the summer before freshman year. I don't remember.
Oh,
It
that's
was
pretty new.
like 2015 or 26. No. No, it's 2014. No, it was it was either the summer of
Oh,
2014 or
wow.
the ending of
Yeah.
2013. It was right in that
Then you
right. It
didn't
was
have to wait too
2013
long for a
2014
new dub.
was when I got into Conan. And I mean, yes I did
Yeah.
in the sense of it feels like forever. Uh but I get it. People have waited longer, sure, but like
hmm
on how much like I used to be at a point in my life where you could tell me
Wow.
an episode number or the name and I could tell you what the case was about. Um at one point, I'm a bit rusty with it. I can still somewhat do it. Like you give me one small little detail of a case and I could be like, "Oh yeah, so in this episode, you know, uh it's sad. It really is. Like I was mentally from memory, I was able to make a canon list of what to watch and like condense the series. And
Wow.
you can find that linked on my page somewhere. Um, I
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I took Conan very seriously, maybe too seriously. I was like
Oh
addicted to
no.
it. Like I had spirals upon spirals, like from just like sitting in class, just like bored out of my mind, like filled with like tree branches of like connecting things together. Like I knew like Mary and Akai and like
Oh.
Hybro were all related before any of that was like even like you should have seen. I went nuts. I knew who I
Uh-huh.
feel like I knew at the point like who Vermouth was like related to the boss in the sense like I went wild and I wish I could find
Wow.
those but like I took the show very seriously. And that's why I feel like if the ending's like ruined for me, I feel like could you just like imagine being on a case for like a decade and then someone would just be
Yeah.
like, "Hey, here's the answer." Like, no, you can't do that. Um, but when Conan
Yeah.
ends, it'll be a bittersweet. But I feel like, look, Conan's a cash cow. I'm sorry if the show ends,
Yeah.
is it really over?
hmm
They're gonna do something, and it might just be like a
I
one
think
time
they
a
might
year thing,
continue
you
with the
know.
movies.
Um,
It might not be
Conan
Kudo,
makes
but
too
it
much
might be
money.
Conan.
The only they could have, yeah,
hmm
like the one weird thing about the movie,
Yeah,
they could have
yeah,
released it right to I'm gonna use Sonic as an example because we both like Sonic. Sure, I'll use him as an example.
yeah.
Um, they could have released the
Yeah.
movie digitally, okay, and made good enough money.
hmm
But they didn't because every year they hold the movie
Yeah.
at a festival first, and then the theaters, then the DVD and digital
hmm
releases. Um, the Sonic movie
Yeah.
made $300 million, and and um and for no wait was
Yeah.
yeah, like
I
in like no
believe,
time at
yeah,
all,
in
and
the
it
first two
almost went
months,
straight to
just
digital,
300.
and it became the most, yeah,
Yeah.
and it made the It's like the number one video game movie of all time, and I'm just like, video game movies don't do good.
Yeah.
Period. Okay. Now imagine if you slapped Conan's face on it. Like you could have done it. And you see how we're all eating up this
Mm-hmm.
English dub stuff. I'm not saying it had to be English dubbed, but I'm saying you know that we'll buy it digital too. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I can see why they did it because, like I said, cash cow. Um, but there's also no reason why they couldn't have.
Yeah.
Um, but
Or,
it gave them a head start on movie 22. I mean, not 22, 25. And apparently, movie
oh,
25 will be like a metropolitan wild police story type thing.
24.
Because I saw the
Uh-huh.
ending credits for the Scarlet Bullet, and supposedly you can hear
Uh-huh.
one of the people from the force's voice talking,
Mm-hmm.
and so
Oh, wait,
supposedly
how
what
far
I took
has
from
the
that
anime
was
come?
it'll
Like,
be
what
like
was
the
the last
metropolitan police
manga
love
file
stories.
that was uh
The last manga file was the 36 cell case where Rum where Conan
okay, okay.
grew a pair, and he asked Bourbon who Rum was, and and
Yeah,
then he
uh-huh.
said, "Look, it
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
hurt me
yeah.
from
Okay,
telling
okay.
you,
Yeah.
but I'm not gonna tell you." But he's very impatient, and then every Rum suspect decided to be
Yeah.
impatient. So it's like great, um,
Yeah.
and then Rum, which I know who Rum is, says to Conan,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. Okay. And then I think you have
that
a
he finds
while
him very
before you
interesting and
get
stuff like that. And
to
I'm like, okay.
one of the I mean,
But
police cases, I think. Mm-hmm.
the one thing that got me
Mm-hmm.
shocked, and I'm gonna go back a little bit before I go into this. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I remember one time. Sometimes the episodes pile up, and I try to binge them like the
Mm-hmm.
old days. And I was watching like 14 episodes in a row, and they were mostly anime original. And even when they weren't, it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
showing anything like interesting or good according to the story. And it was on the last
Mm-hmm.
episode that I had on that list, the after credit scene. They took that long to get me somewhere, and it was of Karudara,
Uh-huh.
and he said into the
Oh.
phone. It was like silent, so you can only see his lips move, and he said bourbon, and I was just like, I literally stood up, jaw dropped, hand on my head, like finally something interesting,
Yeah.
and sure, whatever, and then never really bring it up again. And in that
Mm-hmm.
episode of the perfect 36 squares, um,
Mm-hmm.
he he brings up bourbon again,
Yeah.
but now knowing that he can't be rum, and then he tells the person that on the police force,
Mm-hmm.
I'm no longer your head police whatever, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
what the hell's going on? Like he's something suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
I also feel like what's her name, Rummy. I feel that she
Uh,
is. I don't know. I feel like she has to be a Black Organization member. I'm not saying she's a bad. I'm not saying she's bad.
mm-hmm.
I feel like she rubs me the way that Jody did back in like the
Could
early.
she be part of the
She'll act
police? I mean,
dumb,
like,
and she'll like karate
Barbon?
chop someone to the
That could be
ground and
like
claim that she
maybe
tripped.
something because she's sus, but maybe not too, evil.
Yeah, but the weird but the weird part is, and the only like reason why, like, I know that she's suspicious, okay, sure, and she does that same tripping stuff that Jody did, but
Um,
she was looking at the kill
uh-huh.
confirmation list of people who ate apotoxin.
Yeah.
How would she get access to that list? The FBI don't have access to that list.
Mhm.
I feel like, so she has to be in the organization. It's just
Yeah.
I don't think she's a bad guy, and I don't want her to. I like her. I like her a lot.
Hmm.
She's right next to Jody. She's probably behind Jody because Jody's been here longer. But and I think the only reason why I like Jodie so much is because back
Mm-hmm.
on binging Conan, this was when I was binging the 700 episodes. I
Mm-hmm.
was in my sociology class, or psychology sociology was a mix class,
Oh.
and her name was Jodie Hoskin was her name, and I was binging Conan. I'm
Uh-huh.
tired, and so I raised my hand. That's an American thing. If you know, you gotta go to the bathroom, you raise your hand. Okay, so you think in high school you still gotta do
No.
that? But like,
No.
I raised my hand and I called her Jodie Sensei, and she looked at me and she said, "I don't know if I call myself a sensei, and it's Mrs. Hoskin to you."
No.
And
Oh, okay.
she's like, "You can go, but you're gonna see me after class." I never saw her after class. I never saw her after class, but um,
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget that, and maybe that's why Jodie's special to me in some way. I
Uh-huh.
don't know. I always found her interesting, but like it comes with a story now, and I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, and that's when I learned like it's a good thing I don't have to binge anymore because
Yeah.
I have a problem. Um, but I don't know. Conan's special. I don't want it to
Mm-hmm.
end, but I also can't stand this.
Yeah.
Oh, something cool and interesting, and now we're gonna be silent forever. I can't take that. Like I love it when you show me
Yeah.
something epic, but the in between portions where I gotta wait sucks. Because
Mm-hmm.
how long have we been following this Mary thing for? Since
Yeah.
like 754,
I believe that was
and we just recently
2018
figured
or
out who
17, I
she
believe.
is.
And it's been like three,
I,
4 or 5 years. Yeah.
the, so, but
Mm-hmm.
it's still good, and that's the one thing I like about the show.
Yeah.
At least they always find something to keep it interesting, like you know, bringing up rum or something like that. We always have something new to follow, but it's
Mm-hmm.
just like I feel like
Yeah.
we got to catch up with the manga,
These
or
last hundred
I'm in for a long
chapters
drought.
have been really pushing forward, the series, like including the chapters that have been adapted into the anime. They have been really like going really fast compared to like the 300, 400, 500.
To be
I
honest,
believe like we've picked up a little bit more pace.
mm-hmm. I feel the show's gonna end very
Mm-hmm.
fast. Like it's gonna be a slap in the face because if you remember in the when in that high
Mm-hmm.
school Scarlet Arc trip when not only when they emailed everybody saying like uh Kudo Shinichi I want
Mm-hmm.
info on him type stuff not only at that moment it was also when
Mm-hmm.
Mary and Sierra Masumi figured out with a total confirmation that that's the same boy from 10
Mm,
years
yeah.
ago but that there's also a scientist that made the
Yeah.
pill and Mary and that's currently the arc
Yeah.
we're on now where Mary's trying to get close to Hybera, and Mary's words. And I take what Gosho says to heart when it's in the series written, not when he says it because I can't trust him anymore. He's told me so many things. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but when it's written in the series, I take it very strongly. And in this series,
Mm-hmm.
Mary says, "As soon as I get my body back, even if it's just for a
Mm-hmm.
short time, there's no more moving. It's time for the
Mm-hmm.
counterattack." And I feel that, and like the fact that she's chasing Mary, I'm at Sherry.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's going to be instantaneous that he's going to
Yeah.
catch that she's going to catch her. Okay, this could go on for a long time. You know how long Who Bourbon went on for. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I feel that as soon as she gets her hands on that poison,
Yeah.
it's
Uh,
the show's going to go into
yeah.
its final arc.
Or,
Like,
because Conan
and
has
we might get
become
another
so
15
big as
parter or
of,
something. But like, I feel
recently worldwide, they might actually just go like every other anime right now and just make a movie out of it. But, personally, I don't want that to happen because even though a movie is really high budget, you can't do a lot.
yeah. I don't. Yeah. I agree in the sense that I want it to
Yeah.
end in the series as the series goes. One, because we can probably get another 15 parter, and I'm all about that. But another reason why I want I
Mm-hmm.
is because I don't want them to rush it into an hour and 40-minute film. And
Or maybe
also,
what
I
they did
do
with
want it to be in a
the
movie because I
Scarlet
think that'd be a cool
Ally.
way to close out the series. Be like, hey, there's a final movie that.
I mean, just like have
The
a
Scarlet.
super recap version of the entire
I
final arc
could.
as a movie.
Yeah.
Just they could get some money. Yeah.
I could see that. Look, anything that look, if
Yeah.
you tell them, if you go now into a boardroom and you tell them they can make money off this, they're gonna do it. I saw. Look, if you just go on Amazon and you just Google Detective Conan, you could see a lot of weird stuff that they license. I'm like, why would you make this?
Wow.
Because it makes money. Like I saw like some really weird stuff.
Hmm.
But the one cool Conan fact I learned from going to
Hmm.
anime cons, because there's so many things imported from around the world. And you like Sonic, so I'm gonna share this with you. Did you know that Sega
What?
actually holds like marketing rights to Detective Conan? And that blew my mind. And I got a
What?
lot of boxes of Conan figures and stuff that's like marked Sega on the back, and I'm like, Sega owns a stake in Conan, and it blows my mind. Because I'm like, all right, great, you got both Blue Boys, perfect. Um, but
Hmm.
like,
Wait, so
I
Sega
don't know,
single-handedly
Sega
holds the
they got the
merchandise
good
for
stuff.
Detective Conan,
And I kind of hope,
Sonic, Persona 5, and everything else. Oh my God, what the heck? Yeah,
oh
yeah.
god,
Like they own a stake.
look, I'm not saying that they single-handedly own like, but they own a huge chunk because I would say 95% of my Conan stuff, even like my UFO catcher, like I have like a
Uh-huh.
Conan plush that's like it's like one of like the
Yeah, yeah.
ones that like lay flat, and they're like chibi, um, and that was from a Sega UFO catcher in Japan, and but I mean like it's Sega, and I'm like, it
Hmm.
just it blew my mind because I'll never forget it. I was looking at
Hmm.
figures and they were selling them, and there was this huge, and I was so mad I didn't get it
Hmm.
because now I want it and I can't find it. I could find one close to the size, but it's way too
Hmm.
expensive and I'm not going to get it. But it was a huge Conan figure, like really big, um,
Hmm.
and on the back it said Sega on it, and that's when I first realized. And I'll never forget it because it's
Oh
that
wait,
first
was it
memory of
like a
learning
con
that
exclusive or something?
is attached to this figure I can't get. I
Uh-huh.
sh- no, I can't
Maybe
find it
is it
anywhere
like a
else. I
crane
typed in Detective Conan
exclusive
figure,
something like
Detective
they've
Conan figure. I
just been
can't find
selling
it.
it separately?
It was
Uh-huh.
I have I have no idea. I can't find it again. I don't know what the title said on the but I don't remember it. But ever since then, I have
Uh-huh.
Akai Shiwichi. I have a few Conan figures, but all of them are marked Sega.
Mm, yeah.
I'm sure they probably own 95% of it. I could be
Mm-hmm.
wrong. I'm just throwing out a number out there because I have seen a few things that aren't marked Sega. But once
Yeah.
again, who knows? That might be all those products might be before Sega stepped in.
Yeah.
I have no idea, but I'm sure Sega's been there
Or maybe,
since like the
because
600s or
Sega
500s.
has a huge
I'm sure.
arcade,
Um,
so maybe the prizes are some of the Sexicon and stuff, so they just
yeah,
label it because they're really big in Japan. They
it's
were at
possible.
least until last year.
um,
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel really bad for Sega. Sega really took a hit from COVID, and
Yeah.
this turned into a Sega cast here, but I don't know.
Oh. Yeah, Sonic
Project
Rangers,
Sonic
right?
2022 apparently is supposed to be
Oh
open
man,
world
I can't believe the
like Breath
whole
of the
game
Wild.
leads in less
Yep.
than 24 hours.
So it, when is Conan gonna do that? Like, Conan's gonna leak in the next 24 hours, and
Hmm.
I'm gonna cry. Supposedly, according to Go Show, and this one I do believe him because this is not
Oh.
something you joke about. Claimly, he told two people how it ended, and
Oh.
he has the ending written down somewhere in a safe. Okay, so if he dies, it does not mean we're not going to see
Uh-huh.
the ending of Conan. So
Yeah.
it might be rushed, you know, and there might be some
Yeah, I
missing
don't think we'll see it
details,
in the manga though.
but
The
at least
manga
we'll
might
get
just
the
stop completely. They just might do it in the
conclusion he
anime.
envisioned, and then
Yeah. Oh
you
no,
know what?
yeah, because you're just
Well,
anime
part of me
anime
says
only,
I'm
so
okay
you
with
won't get
that
spoiled.
because because I'm following that
Yeah,
anyway, and I'm already used to the adaptation and how they translate it.
yeah.
But the
No,
only
I want to
reason
see
why I'm
Gosho's
not
vision
okay
come
with
to
that
fruition.
is because that means Gosho died,
Like
and
his,
that's not
yeah.
okay. That's not okay. Um, I waited this long. Just I'll wait, but I'll tell you, I will
Yeah.
probably hop on the manga like and get the ending because it, if they don't line it up, I'm reading the
Yeah,
manga
don't worry.
because
You'll
I'm
just
not
have like
having
a
some
50
random
chapter
guy
catch up,
on
you know.
4chan tell me how
So
it
I
ended.
believe you're in 2018 right now, so that's like 2 years or I don't know how many years. I think 4 years. But there's only been like 50 chapters out since then, so yeah, it's pretty good. You'll be able to catch up pretty fast.
Uh, yeah, but
Yeah,
see, I know that America, I believe they're on volume 78, I think right now.
yeah, that's
Um,
better.
but I would
Yeah.
just read the fresh translated. That's what I do. Um, I don't play that game, but I don't know
Yeah.
really where else to go
Uh,
with this. But
yeah, so
do you
like
have
what
anything
was
that you
like you
want
just
to
came
talk about
into
or
the
bring
Detective
up?
Conan community like a few years ago. So what was your first impression?
So in
Uh-huh.
2014, my first impression was I really didn't get into the community until
Uh-huh.
until I got to like the subbed version, and then I started joining like group pages or
Oh
anything that
man.
had
You
anything
know, you
labeled
just
with Detective
missed
Conan on it.
one
Like
of
if it was
few of
there,
the
I
best
tried to be a
years of
part of it.
Detective Conan. You know,
Um,
after the dub finished and the dub was cancelled, we did have like a few years where the community like got together. Like I'm not sure if you heard of DCTP, Detective Conan Translation Project. I think they closed in like 2013. But you know, yeah,
yes, yeah, because
yeah.
some of the
Like
episodes
they
that I
even had like a
have
separate website where you could
are
just
from
watch
them.
all the Detective Conan episodes, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
like my friend who got me into the series, like I told you about, and like
Mm-hmm.
and his thing was to me was he wasn't even a full
Uh-huh.
fan of it, and I've tried so many times to get him into it, and he likes it. But when, like I said, he might give me the option on this one because he
Uh-huh.
liked it. But he said like I only saw like a few episodes of it on Adult Swim on a random order naturally, and and he goes, I just think it was really cool. I think you're gonna like it, and he wouldn't let me. And then then he wouldn't watch it. I'm just like, why are you forcing me to watch it if you're not gonna watch it? I'm glad he did, and me and him
Uh-huh.
have recently been rewatching just the canon episodes from the list that I made. And
Mm-hmm.
we're right now where they just introduced Okia Subaru is right where we're at right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be like in like the
Yeah.
900s really soon. Like my list is like top notch, but
Yeah.
so
Have you tried any of the Detective Conan games?
I don't even remember where I was going with this. I,
Oh, the GBA
so
ones. Yeah.
I actually
Uh-huh.
patched a lot of
Yeah. One of
the
the
Game
DS
Boy
ones is
games.
patched, I
And
believe.
I do have the DS ones too. Um, and then I also
Oh.
and then I don't know, all the ones I have are patched, and I think I have them all. And
Oh, the Wii version, right?
I do own one of them physically, but naturally you can't.
Oh.
No, it was a DS
Oh.
game. It has Kaido Kid and
Yeah.
Kogoro on the cover. I know that, but you can't read the kanji, so it's useless. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I do have the Wii version, and I run it on an emulator. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I jailbroke my Wii, so I try to get it like running on my Wii, and I can get it done to the point where
Yeah, I
Conan
believe that
shouts
emulator is
like
better because you
the
can
name
get
of the
better
game, but
quality
it just
than a
doesn't
Wii.
work from there. And I emulated it,
Uh-huh.
and and I'm glad that you brought this up because I was actually going to ask you a question. um, a while ago, but I just never got around to it. So
Mm-hmm.
when I first played the game, this is before I had a controller or
Mm-hmm.
anything for my PC, and so I was playing with like arrow
No.
controls and stuff like that. I spent 3 hours trying to open that damn purse.
No, I just
I don't know
there
if
was
you I don't know
like
if you played the Wii
playthroughs
game or
around, and
not,
I just like watched a lot of
but
videos, because I personally didn't have a Wii, and my system isn't wasn't as
mhm,
powerful back then, so I didn't have an option. Like
mhm,
I think it just like a year or two after it came out, but since then I have been thinking of like trying it out
mhm,
again because I have a better PC now, but I'll have to get to it sometime.
mhm. Because I have, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not easy to find a ROM of this game. I actually found the
Oof.
ROM in pieces, in 5 different pieces, and I stripped them together to make the ROM.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's not easy to find or get working. Um, and I was actually trying to find
Oh,
somebody to like
yeah.
stream and play this game with. Like, two heads are better than one. Um,
Yeah.
and that, I was just gonna be like, hey, if you haven't played it yet,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
here we
it's
go.
been
I don't
really
know.
long since, like, I just
I'm just trying
remember
to find
bits
some.
and
I don't
pieces,
know.
but I don't remember the entire thing. So it would be a pretty good experience.
I don't remember. I don't remember anything. Like I
Mm-hmm.
played like a little bit past the purse, but I eventually did get the purse open after 3 hours.
Aw.
But Dolphin ended up not saving my progress, and I, I said okay, I'm done. I'm not playing this no more. And I said one day, and the
No, no,
only
it was in
I played
English.
it in
Oh, yeah.
English. I don't know if you played it in Japanese with the English subtitles. I don't know what
Mm-hmm.
you did, but
Mm-hmm.
the only thing of the game I remember,
Uh-huh.
the only thing I remember Harley and Conan talking at one point in a hotel room. I remember this guy named Al, and he kept making this
Uh-huh.
applesauce pun I thought was stupid. And there's this guy named Chase Bank, and he owns the Metropolis. That's it. I know. Oh, and this cursed lady's purse I couldn't open.
Yeah.
That's forever in my brain. Besides that, I don't remember one damn thing. I don't. So to
Yeah.
me, it's fresh. In the sense of I don't remember anything. Um, so I don't know when I want to do that or how I want to
For
do it.
sure.
Um,
Yeah, yeah. I'm down
I
for
just
it.
know that I want to do it at some point, but I also wanted to find somebody who was just like. But I got the whole thing. It works.
No, I
Like
think yeah, yeah. No, no, no,
I
no, no.
would love to
Yeah.
send it to you, but the only thing I'm afraid of
No,
is
it's
Google
not worth it.
Drive.
Trust
Because
me.
Google Drive is not a fan of
Like, did you hear
copyrights.
about the guy who just get out of jail
No.
because he
Um,
pirated anime? Uh-huh.
like like I I
Uh-huh.
remember back in the day. I'm sure it's not safe anymore. This is back in the peak of the internet. When emulation first
Hmm.
started, and it was mainly just like on jailbroken Wii's from Homebrew. Um,
Ooh.
that my friend used to send me
Uh-huh.
ROMs through Skype, like the Skype download
Hmm.
thing. And I don't know if you could do that anymore and
Hmm.
get away with it without it being like a legal problem. But back in the day, I remember that like Pokemon Coliseum, Super Mario Sunshine, Sonic Adventure 2. I can't tell you how many copies of Sonic
uh,
Adventure 2 I've owned. Um,
yeah.
Too many, at least 6. Great game.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna make this quote here because what
Yeah.
I'm gonna do, because we got on a Sonic tangent here. Um,
Yeah.
so what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna split uh, the Conan and the Sonic,
Yeah,
and
and
then
yeah.
we can upload
We'll
them
split
both.
as
You
Sonic
can
and Conan.
upload it
That's
as
pretty
one
good.
or however. I don't know how we're gonna upload, but I think I'm gonna split it, and then
Yeah.
we'll leave the Sega marketing part
Yeah, that was
in the Conan one
yeah.
because that's Conan related. But I think that's what I'm gonna do
Hmm.
because I do want to do
Yeah.
more content than just Conan.
There are a lot of
I know
Conan
Conan
fans,
doesn't
but
reach
they're
this
mostly
far,
not like
unfortunately.
that
Um,
active.
like I still like like I said, like I'm
Hmm.
climbing in numbers every day. Like when I messaged you, I was at 1,175,
Hmm.
and now I'm almost at like
Wow.
1,200. So, and that was just from like messaging you the other day. Like, I'm constantly climbing, but like it's like just tell
Yeah.
me that you're here, you know?
I mean,
Like,
once you get consistent, I believe it's gonna
and it's
grow really
fine.
fast.
But
Yeah. I
and I'm
mean,
gonna try. And what
if
I
you
want to do
do,
is I
the
want to start
algorithm is
talking
gonna
about
mess you
other
up
things too. Like
unless you're consistent
I
with
don't
that.
know if
Because
I'll.
uh, like I used to upload a lot of Conan videos,
Yeah, I
and then
know.
I just dropped one Conan video. I
Um,
mean, sorry, one Sonic video, and that the algorithm didn't pick that video up. And then I just continued. Yeah. Mhm.
look what I
Mhm.
noticed about YouTube algorithm. If you ever see something that you
Mhm.
didn't like, or you're just like, I liked watching this and it was a good time watching it,
Yeah.
but I don't want this to flood my stuff. Just remove it from your watch history, and then suddenly, poof, it's gone.
Yeah.
And I realized that. So now whenever I watch something or I accidentally click on something, I
Mhm.
just remove it from my search history. I'm like, cool. And I started doing that every time a Conan video catches my eye that I watch. I immediately remove it from my search history because I'm afraid of spoilers.
Oh no.
And I had Conan flooding my
Yeah.
stuff
Oh
at one
yeah. Like,
point,
how
and
did
I'm
you
like,
come
oh, I
across my
can't have
channel though?
this. Uh, this but
Oh.
I don't remember if it was because of Sonic or if it was because of Conan.
Oh.
Now I don't know. I
I've
I
only
could have
done
sworn
one
it was from an
unboxing, but that
unboxing
was
video,
Persona.
and maybe it wasn't an unboxing video. I don't remember. I
Yeah.
really don't. Oh, because
Oh
it
man.
wasn't that. I don't remember what it was. It was a long time ago. Um, it was like
Yeah.
one of your really earlier videos. Like you could tell, like
Yeah.
I'm new to this, like, um, and I don't remember, but I just remember I just remember
Yeah, I
just
mean,
being
usually
like,
when
hey,
people watch
common
my videos, they
interest,
just like I had
and I
once
just
a
kept
really
watching.
racist guy. Like he just
And
saw
then
my
as
video and
we
then he like bombarded me with lots of racist stuff. Like, well, some people like just see like an Indian guy and then they just say, okay, bye bye, and they just move on.
yeah.
Hmm.
And but it was really when you really started talking
Yeah,
about Conan more in the sense of like the
yeah,
Funimation
that was
dub
pretty
and then getting
interesting.
into like, oh, what could be next? Does something happen,
Yeah.
and I followed you really during that news ride too. Like that's like when
Hmm.
I like,
Hmm.
so for example, like I was subscribed and I was watching your stuff just like on a random
The
basis whenever it would
movies,
show
yeah.
up. But I really started to follow you when
Yeah,
you were
that was a
talking
really interesting time for me because
like really
uh,
going in and at it.
at the time I was just browsing Twitter one day and then I realized that the movie came out and I like searched YouTube, I searched the Google News and I didn't find a single post or a single article or video on Detective Conan and I was so mad, like no one posted anything about it. So, I thought, okay, I know a bit of Conan info.
Yeah.
Why don't I just yeah.
Like I'll never
Uh-huh.
forget. I'll never forget the first moment of how I encountered with the dub.
Yeah.
It was like 4 o'clock in the morning. It was 4 o'clock in the morning, and this is the new dub, by the way. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning,
Hmm.
and I was browsing some forum. I don't really remember, and I
Hmm.
was watching
Yeah.
some Conan stuff, and I was like, all right, it's time for me to go to bed.
Uh-huh.
And I probably would not have known about the English dub being a thing for
Yeah.
plenty of time
Yeah.
after this, because apparently this was announced
Uh-huh.
way back with like an announcement that they were doing a dub, and I never even got the wind of that. But
Hmm.
um, this was when
Yeah.
the stuff was still going on behind closed doors, but they announced it way in prior with like a trailer. And anyway, the
Hmm.
long term of the story was I read that they were doing
Hmm.
stuff behind closed doors, and immediately after reading that, in disbelief and in shock, and then seeing the official thing from TMS Entertainment, I said, okay. I contacted sources that I knew, and I immediately, within a very short amount of time, I'm talking within the hour, I had my hands on
Wow.
I had my hands on the link that got me the to download the video, and I watched it, and then right from there I made the well, I didn't make it right away because I actually didn't have the idea to dub and scrub it right away.
Oh.
So I saw it before even that date, but that date's still like shocking, regardless. But I remember it was like I finished it at like 7:30 in the morning, and I was just like, it was a wild ride because I went from shocked that it existed to it's now on my computer to wow, this is English.
Yeah.
It was quite the ride from like 4:30 a.m. to like
for me it was
7:30
like
in the morning.
the movie had just come out. I didn't even know that it was coming out. So it had just screened in anime in the Anime Expo, and like I ran to Twitter and I was like going through, and then as I was going through, the Detective Conan search on Twitter, I just started to see all these voice actors post that they're voicing the character and their thoughts about it, and the comment and the replies just flooding in with lots of Detective Conan fans, and that was like the first time in a long time that I had seen on an official basis a lot of fans of Detective Conan just like gushing about Conan and talking about the dub and congratulating the cast. That was such an incredible experience.
I feel, yeah. I really reached out to Erica Mendez, and I tried to ask her how she got the role. I was just curious, okay, but when I was watching the what do you want to call it? When I was watching the dub of a Sherry, and I heard Sherry's voice, and this is the only reason why I did it. I heard Sherry's voice, and I said, "Huh, I wonder who is voicing her." And I saw in the voice cast it said Erica Mendez, and I'm like, "Where did I hear that name before?" And I typed in Erica Mendez or whatever, and then I searched up the person who voiced Hybera, and I'm like, oh, they're both Erica I'm like, okay, nope, that makes sense. And then I tweeted at her response to her playing Hybera.
I mean, don't worry. I believe you might get, some information.
I wanted to know
in the next few months.
I wanted to know.
I'm not sure I'm supposed to say this, but someone in the later cast, and someone who has been like in both the previous cast and this cast, like Kevin Connolly. Have you heard of him? I mean, he's the voice of Heiji in the old dub, and he's voiced also in the new one. He's pretty this one active in the community, so he has agreed to talk about Conan with Professor C later on. So if that goes through, maybe we'll get a bit more insight into what's going on with the new dub and like what's the process.
Okay.
Or at least something. Yep.
You know what bothers me? You know what bothers me with that fact? And it's shocking that this is the only thing that bothers me. If he's working on this new dub, why isn't he voicing Harley? Just saying.
Yeah.
That's my number one question.
I mean, the video's out there, so I don't think it's secret information, because he said it on the podcast, so I guess it's pretty much common knowledge now. I hope so. And Kevin Connolly did drop in my comments one section, and I did ask him, like, can we talk Conan sometime, and he said yeah, but I'm not sure like how I should contact him. Maybe ask him on Twitter or something. So.
Speaking of other fun facts about other characters, about how we've conversed. I don't know if Professor C has ever talked to our Bruce Elliott at all, but I love him. Like I said, I got a lot of exclusive stuff from him before. But during an interview I had with
Uh-huh.
him, he does not do interviews, by the way, in the sense
Mm-hmm.
of like vocally.
Yeah.
Um, like yes, I have vocal stuff from him, and that's how I can tell you it is him because it's vocally him. But he
Uh-huh.
doesn't do like vocal interviews with like
Yeah.
random people, no matter if they got podcasts or they have numbers. That doesn't. But he says if you
Oh,
send me scripts or whatever, and I'm friends with him on Facebook.
wow.
And he comments on some of my stuff every once in a while, or heart reacts to it, especially if it's Conan. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but one cool thing I remember off the top of my head from the interview I had with him was I asked him about cool set
Yeah, yeah,
moments or whatever,
yeah.
and unfortunately, most of it was done
Mm-hmm.
separately or whatever. But he did tell me this one cool thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's one thing I will forever hold in my heart. He said, "I'll tell you this though.
Oh.
Her name is actually pronounced Alison Victorin, not Alice Victorian. Although I will say Alice Victorian just out of habit, but because I'm friends with her on Facebook too, and I watch all of her. I watch all of her. What
Mm-hmm.
do you want to call it? I watch all of her like Facebook stories, and
Oh.
I will comment on them. She'll respond,
Mm-hmm.
because I hear Conan in her voice. She has a very boyish voice. When she just casually talks, and she was launching a business or whatever, and she was talking about something, and I forget what he said, and what she said, and I made a
Wow.
comment saying it's really weird hearing Conan talk about this, and she just
Mm-hmm.
laughed. But the one thing that I took from R. Bruce Elliott when he said
Mm-hmm.
this to me, he said I'll tell you one thing that was cool. He goes,
Mm-hmm.
on occasion, I would pass Allison Victorin, and um, I don't remember if he said that he would lightly like punch her on the
Mm-hmm.
head, or I don't know if the punching was anything, so that, like I could be remembering that part wrong. But he at least
Yeah.
yelled Conan to him like he does in the show, like when he punches him in the head. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if he did like the light
Yeah.
fake punch and then said it, or if he just said it. I don't remember. I would have to go back and look. But the fact that he just
Yeah.
like yelled like Conan,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
was like warming to me. I was just like I'm glad that I know that. And I never
Mm-hmm.
made the interview video I was gonna make because it was on my old channel before I
Yeah.
became Conan. Before I made this Conan channel, because I had a Sonic channel before, and well, naturally, no one
Yeah.
cares about Conan. That's a Sonic fan, so it didn't matter. Despite both being under that blue
Yeah.
umbrella, and it's not even metaphorical. The Sega umbrella, it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
even just because they're blue. Um, but and I just never made the video. My most popular video on there was Bayonetta 3, a Bayonetta 3 video,
Oh. Oh.
and
Yeah.
the
I
Who is
remember
Infinite, because there was a big theory that Infinite was Tails from a different timeline.
that. Ooh.
And that video had too many views. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it did not deserve the amount of views that it
Oh
got.
man.
Like last time I checked, it was really high. Like I'm talking, like it was like
Oof.
at least 10,000 times my subscriber number. Like that's a lowball number. That's a lowball number. It was probably like 30 times, but it
Yeah,
was
I feel
crazy.
like I might have been
And I
one of
was
those
just
people
like,
because I
I'm
remember this
sorry.
theory
And then
floating
all my
around.
videos were just like shit after that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and my friend gave me like a lot of like construction and like criticism,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like it made it a little less than what I would have
Mm-hmm.
done. Like he like said, oh, I think it'd be funny
Mm-hmm.
if you did this or whatever, and so naturally I listened to him because we've been best friends since the
Yeah.
second grade. Um, but also some things I'm just like wondering, like, well, maybe that's why. Like, maybe that's why it
Oh.
skyrocketed.
Yeah.
He's actually the one who helped me make this temporary logo that I showed you
Mm-hmm.
the other day. Uh, we literally threw that together like really fast. Um, I'm thinking about giving him earbuds because I just don't like the way that the headphones cover his ear. But
Mm-hmm.
it was something
Yeah.
I wanted. since I had COVID back in November and I had it again in March, and I was just like, if I
Hmm.
come back to doing podcasts,
Yeah.
I want to come back with a fresh start to actually look like I try to up it a bit with the logo. I've been
Hmm.
leeching off Gosho's
Yeah.
artwork for too long, so but I'm at the point where I'm shocked that
Yeah.
I've mentally been able to have a conversation because this
Hmm.
morning, from like I said, how much I've been at work. This morning, I bumped into somebody, and like the
What?
tray went in between my rib cage, and they also had the time to say, "Watch where you're going." And I was looking dead ahead, like I was staring at them, and I didn't even realize that I bumped into somebody until like
Hmm.
way after that. And I was like I said, I was looking straight ahead, so it's
Oh,
not like I didn't see them or wasn't paying attention. I just literally
no.
I was mentally clocked out.
You're running on
I was not
autopilot.
there. I was not at work mentally. So yeah. So I'm surprised. Not even gonna
You,
lie.
you got through almost more
That
than 2 hours for
I
sure.
successfully made it through a conversation because
What?
yeah, we're at
Yeah.
2 hours and
Yeah. What time
29
is it for you? Because
minutes.
I think it might be really late
We did it. We did it,
for you.
folks. But
What?
uh,
Oh no.
2:09 a.m.
Yeah.
Bro,
Is your Sunday off,
witching
or do you
hour
have to
is
go back to
on
work?
the. It's coming. Uh,
No.
I gotta go back to
Oh,
work.
okay.
I'm never safe. Yeah. Tomorrow I start at 10 though, so it's fine. And then I work
Ooh,
Monday
wow.
as well. I requested Tuesday off for Nintendo's E3, and I successfully got it. And the place can burn down to the ground for all I care.
Hmm.
Um, I joke with my managers. I love my managers. Like sometimes they can be a bit much.
Hmm.
They can see this. It don't matter. But I love that like we can joke and it's okay. Like I'll go to the bathroom and I'll be like, hey, if I'm gone for too long, I'm trying to burn this place down. Like that's what I'm doing in the bathroom. Um, I I I don't know. I do most of everything there. Like, and the kitchen right now is trying to poach me. Um, and they're telling me like we can't let you go right now because like we would cannibalize the entire section if you left.
Oh
I'm
no.
like, I do things way out of my job description. Like I'm moving things to attics and stuff, and I'm like, this is out of my job description. Where's my
Hmm.
raise? Like, um, but
Yeah.
I plan to be moving down to Wisconsin in January, so it doesn't even
Yeah,
matter.
but
This is just
yeah.
saving up
Let's
money
hope you
is
get a
what I'm
better job there at least
taking it as. But
that
7
has
days a
lesser
week is a
hours.
lot.
I mean, does it at least pay well? You're working
Yeah,
from like,
but bro, you know,
mm-hmm.
um, yes and no. When I hit time and a half,
Hello.
it's great. Um, like my last two checks were both in the 700s. So and these are weekly.
Mm-hmm.
They're not like bi-weekly checks. So they're weekly. So it's nice. Um, but it's also where I feel like it's not
Mm-hmm.
worth it. Like I take that 700 in 2 weeks span of time. Like it's a
Oof.
lot. Like I said, like my last 2 weeks were
Yeah,
like
that's a lot.
75 plus hours. It's in 1 week. That's I literally I come home, I go to bed. If I don't eat there somehow, I don't eat when I come home. And as disgusting as this is, I don't care. If I come home and I have to pee, I will go to bed and I say I will pee when I get up. I
Man.
can't I can't stand on my feet any longer. So I'll wake up at 4. I'll wake up at 4 a.m. Do what I got to do, but like I can't.
Yeah.
um, it's
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot. And what's nice about Conan now
Mm-hmm.
is I have Saturdays to look forward to. Now I leech off my friend's Crunchyroll. I'm not even gonna lie. I got nothing to
Mm-hmm.
lie about here. Um, I watch Conan
Wow.
Saturday mornings before work. That's my treat for the week. That's what I do. I'll watch Watch Conan in the morning and then suffer at work. And well, that's if I start work
Oh,
at like
uh-huh.
11 or something. Because if I start at 10, well, it hasn't released on Crunchyroll yet, so I don't get to watch it. like, I'll watch it when I get
Uh-huh.
home, but like Conan once a week. Unless if it's a two-parter. Sometimes if it's two-parters, I'll wait so I can watch them both back to back. But
Yeah. Do you think he'll take a
I
day
don't know.
off
I just want
if
movie
it gets released in
24.
theaters?
That's where I'm at mentally with Conan. I'm just like, if it's not, oh, look, if it gets released in
Mm-hmm.
theaters,
Yeah. Yeah.
I probably would, but it's not. It's not. I know Singapore got it,
Wait, didn't
which
like
is some
Demon Slayer get released in
like
theaters recently?
that ain't fair. I'm sorry. Um,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Funimation did it.
I
Yeah.
haven't watched TV in a very long time. So
Uh-huh.
if it does not yeah, so
Yeah.
if it does not come across a YouTube ad, I
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
answer. Like if I
I
don't see
think from what I've seen,
if I don't
it
see it in an
got
ad, I
released
haven't seen
in
it. That's what I tell people.
February, March, and it did really well. It became one of the top grossing animes in America in theaters.
Okay. Um,
Hmm. Or maybe like on a
but
day off.
like I don't know. It's a
Like,
hard question. Part of me would say yes, but it's also like I stayed spoiled
yeah.
for so long. And America, they keep their mouth shut. So about Conan at
Yeah,
least, they'll spoil anything else.
one good thing about
Or they'll make up things to spoil
following
that
a
aren't even
franchise that
true. Welcome to 4chan.
A lot of people don't know is
Um,
like you can't get spoiled in the workplace. Hmm.
like the one thing that I feel about
Hmm.
Conan is just like, sure, get off,
Yeah.
whatever. Just stop watching the sub, and you'll be fine. America won't talk, and sure, maybe, but the one fear I have
Hmm.
is
Yeah.
Conan has been on the air for over 2 decades, almost going on three. You're gonna tell me
Yeah.
that's not gonna hit news bulletins around the world?
Hmm.
Okay, I'll use Friends as an example.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
that American sitcom has been played in so many countries. Um, that
Oof.
when the series finally came to an end, it was on international news everywhere.
Hmm.
You tell me Conan ain't going to be the same? It's going to be on every bulletin board,
Yeah.
even if they're not Conan fans. They don't have to be Conan fans. I'll tell you right now, any anime article in the world will post and say, blah 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 blah, and like act like they were a fan, but they weren't. They don't even know that Conan and Shinichi are the same person. But I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I forget because it's been so long since we've seen
Yeah.
Shinichi that I forget. But it's like I feel like it's unavoidable.
Hmm.
I
Yeah, there's like two or
like
three journalists like
Crunchyroll
on
themselves will
Crunchyroll and
definitely
see
talk about it.
comic book
Um,
news that really just churn out Detective Conan news articles, and I'm really happy that they do that because when the movie was released at the Anime Con, like no one was talking about it except like two people, and in the past 2 years since the dub's release, I've only seen Crunchyroll or comic book news talk about anything that comes out of Detective Conan, and it's just those two journalists who cover it for some reason. And I'm really happy that they do it.
mhm. The best part,
Hmm.
the one thing speaking of Crunchyroll and everything, just because it reminded me, the one thing I could
Hmm.
never wrap my head around. I
Uh-huh.
get it. You own the copyright to streaming it. I get it. And I'm talking about Funimation right now.
Hmm.
So when Funimation had it, and they had the streaming rights to Case Closed.
Hmm.
I'm like, cool, that's on you. And Crunchyroll added the first 42
Yeah.
episodes
Hmm.
to their, and they were the subbed versions, so it made even less sense. And Funimation pulls the we have streaming
Oh,
copyright.
oh.
You can't do that, and then they pulled them down. And I'm like, bro, you already said that you're not renewing your. get off your high horse. I'm sorry. And and then sure enough, what does
Yeah, but
Crunchyroll
you know
do
it's
as
pretty
soon as
sad that
Funimation
it's
loses their
gone back. I
license? The
mean,
first 42
kind
episodes
of
are back
ironic
up.
because
I
Sony is now acquiring Crunchyroll, and they own Funimation.
oh, I thought that was yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
Hmm.
technically, Funimation's been owned by Sony for a very long time, so it's nothing new. But when I heard that
Hmm.
Crunchyroll was possible, this was at the time, it was possibly an acquisition. I was like, does that mean that like if you have a Crunchyroll subscription, you have access to Funimation or like, um, and
I mean,
my friend was
for
just
me,
like, hey,
it
I tell you
sounded
right
kind of
now,
like good
if they
news
make me
because
pay
we have
more, I'm out.
Crunchyroll in India. Even though it
um,
doesn't have a vast library like America, but at least if the merger goes through, and if by some chance Funimation uh
bro,
uses that as like how I'm not sure if you heard about this, like Hotstar. Have you heard of Hotstar in India? Like it's a platform. It was owned by 20th Century Fox, and after the acquisition, they turned that streaming platform. So it was a streaming platform called
okay,
Hotstar, and they used that and they turned it into Disney Plus. But the advantage was that it was at the same cost. So it was basically 500 rupees for an no 1,500 rupees for an entire year. So that equates to, I believe, $10 for entire year subscription
okay.
of Disney Plus, and that was a huge deal for me. Like, how much does it cost? Do you have any idea how much it costs in America?
Hmm.
Like, at least a month.
Um,
Ooh, oh no, oh man,
I think it's is it 60? Hang on,
oh man.
I can Google that. It's like 60 or 80 or like 90 for the year or something. Hang on. I look, I have Disney Plus, but I don't pay for it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I do not pay for one streaming service besides Hulu, and that's only because my
Mhm.
phone plan included it.
Um,
Um, I was also paying for Netflix, but I stopped paying for it because I was like, one, can't afford all this stuff, and two, my friend's just like, you can hop on ours. I'm like, cool.
oh man.
Saved, and they keep like racking it up like $1 every few months. I'm like, remember when Netflix used to be
Oh yeah,
8.99? Like, and the only reason why I want it now is for Sonic
yeah.
Prime.
Disney
I'm
Plus.
like, but what was I Google? I was googling. Oh, how much is Disney Plus?
Oh yeah, yeah. So this is like
Disney
8 times
Plus. It's
cheaper
eight
than
dollars a month or eighty
what you
dollars a
guys
year.
pay. So it. Mhm,
And you can also
mhm.
do Disney Plus and
Yeah.
Hulu and a sports
So
package for
like,
fourteen
yeah.
dollars
Do
a
you
month.
watch sports?
Yeah, no,
Uh-huh. Yeah. Me neither. So like if
no,
Crunchyroll
but I
does
was just
something
reading.
like
I was
that
just
in
like,
India,
I was just
or
reading.
if Sony does something like that in
Uh,
India, that would be
no,
that would be really cool because they really want to enter the market right now because everyone's coming online in India. So this is like many companies are seeing this as a new opportunity to like hop on the train and like get their subscription services in. Like it's been happening a lot recently. So if yeah, uh-huh.
but like Disney, that damn
Mhm.
mouse owns everything.
Oh no.
They try. I swear, this is a
I read that
conspiracy
somewhere. I read
theory,
that somewhere.
but I feel like they try to buy Pokemon. Uh, It was on Disney X. It was on
Hmm,
Disney
yeah.
XD. They
Fun
caught
fact, in
Pokemon
India
for
it only runs on Disney
like
XD.
for like a few seasons, and um, but
Hmm.
uh, and so Pokemon when they got it,
Yeah.
the one thing
Hmm.
you got to understand is Disney is the richest company in the world, probably somewhere around there, and that damn mouse owns everything. They own Fox,
Hmm.
they Hulu. Um, but the one thing that shocked me was Pokemon
Yeah.
is the number one most sold media franchise of all time. It's number one.
Yeah.
It beats the mouse, and I'm just like, total monopoly if
Yeah,
Disney got away
Pokemon, you
with it.
can't beat Pokemon, because of the
Um,
nostalgia factor
but
and the games and like the anime. There's no way you can beat it immediately out of the gate. But they're getting close.
but I'm kind of
Mm-hmm.
like I don't want this to
Mm-hmm.
happen because I want Conan to be more widespread. Maybe it doesn't have to be an
Mm-hmm.
exclusive, and maybe that might help it. I would love to see
Yeah,
Conan like
yeah. You know
just the
what I
dub,
thought?
just the
I
dub,
thought like let all the movies be
come to
separate,
like
like let them
Netflix or
just sell
something.
on digital and Blu-ray, but just put the episode one special on Netflix. So when someone's scrolling through Netflix and they see it, and then they just click on it and they like it, they can like go and buy the DVDs later on.
Yeah,
Uh,
because I don't think those random
700s.
episodes are even on
Yeah,
Netflix
it's still there
anymore.
for me, but I'm not sure about the US.
I think it was roughly when Netflix added the 42.
Hmm.
The is it? Hang on, I can. Where's my phone? I have it. There it
I
is.
believe that episode one
All
special might
right,
be
let's
really
see.
good.
Let's
Like if you
see.
put it on Netflix as a starter for anyone who wants to get
I
into
almost
Conan.
opened Discord. Uh, yeah. Uh, I don't know.
Yeah,
I immediately introduced them to the
yeah.
Funimation dub,
I
but
mean,
like
yeah, I
I
tried to
really
introduce
like
it to one of
episode
my
one
friends
in the sense it's
recently,
like
but
an
he
all
wasn't
side
into,
story.
the old animation. Like I tried to
Um,
get him into a few shows like Akira and the Case Closed and some other old shows, but he wasn't that into it. Yeah. Oh man.
yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not on Netflix anymore.
Yeah.
That's sad. Um, but they were just random episodes in the 700s, I believe. So it's not like they were like important, but like I would love to see, especially
Yeah.
since it got that rare 5-star rating. I would love
Mm-hmm.
for to see it like come on there. Maybe that's how they do the
Blu-ray.
show. It runs on Netflix, and then
Yeah.
they after it's over, they release the DVD box sets. I fully believe we will get DVD
Mm-hmm.
box sets. They won't be like um, even if they do 3 episodes per DVD, that's fine, and that's a theory because a lot of people claim that you can only
Mm-hmm.
hold so many episodes per
Yeah.
Blu-ray, but there are ways around that, um, where you can fit more than 3. I've seen
Mm-hmm.
seasons done on Blu-rays. I'm sorry, I don't fully
Mm-hmm.
believe that that would be the case. Now, I don't put that past TMS Entertainment with their grubby hands and awful marketing
Mm-hmm.
skills, but I could see full season box sets, and I could see us,
Mm-hmm.
but I could also see them wanting to milk it. But I mean, like, I could see if I can condense the show
Mm-hmm.
into anywhere between 4 to 8 seasons, depending how
Yeah.
meaty you want to
I
be.
did, that's possible.
There is no reason why they can't do like 10 box sets or something and call it a day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you spread it out for a couple more years to get your
Yeah.
income. Like, I don't
Yeah,
expect us to
I
get
believe,
the
yeah,
English
I think they might
version
just
of an
start
ending
dubbing the
for a
series
couple more
after the series
years.
is done in Japan.
Like let's say
Yeah.
they could do that. Full possibility. Um, I don't know. I just don't understand why they have the idea or audacity to play with me like
Mm-hmm.
this. Like it's
Yeah.
just like give it to me. Like, and look, the fact is, how
Yeah.
fast they can do this. The span that how many movies did we get in less than a few months? Like, there's no reason why we can't see movie 18, movie 24, and movie
Mm-hmm.
what comes after? I can't even count backwards anymore. My brain is like I'm working
Yeah.
with 2 brain cells.
Mm-hmm.
What comes after 18? 17. There's no reason why we can't get all those movies this year. Look, I get
Yeah.
it, pandemic, but like, look what you did during the pandemic anyway. Like, I disagree. But I don't know. Like, back to what you brought up. Like, if they do the show
Mm-hmm.
and if like the Funimation cast technically absorbed with Crunchyroll, Could that be anything?
Yeah.
I could see it, but I also can't because at that point they could pick up right where they left off,
Mhm.
which would be a better deal in
Yeah.
my eyes. But also, like you just try to reintroduce everything, and it would just be weird to go back. Like I said, don't get me wrong, I prefer that. I don't care if Hedgie messes up a few facts. Like just they're all
Yeah.
Hedgie too. I swear to God. Yeah, Hedgie just doesn't know how to read a
Mhm.
script, and that's okay. But no, that one thing that you just told me bothers me. And like, if he
Yeah.
came back to do the new dub, why why is he not voicing? It just doesn't make
Yeah.
sense. Uh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like this
Mhm.
series, it's gonna be
Yeah.
good. It'll be
We'll have to
fine.
see.
Bang Zoom's doing a decent job, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. No, that was basically it. Yeah, you've been up
Um,
for like it's almost three
got
o'clock for
any
you, I
other
believe.
ending thoughts? No, I'm. Bro, it's 2:28, and I'm not even cutting this video today. What I'm gonna do is I
Yeah.
already know how I'm gonna do it. This is your one-stop shop. Subscribe and remember, with a keen eye for details, one truth will always prevail.